Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome here. It's Wednesday night. You know what that means. We are at the OB Builders Cup Series here on V-Speed for the RS Button Boxes 200 at Loudon, New Hampshire. Glad to have y'all here tonight. I am joined in the booth by, of course, redneck announcer Jake Reeves. Jake, well, we've had some pretty awesome races. Now we're going to go flat track racing at Loudon, New Hampshire. Talk to me about it, man. What can we expect here tonight, and how you doing tonight?
Well, honestly, Eddie, I'm just going to go ahead and just quote the great Tracy Bird. I mean, obviously down here in North Georgia, it was hot enough today to make the devil sigh, and that's exactly how I've been feeling. A little bit under the weather, but happy to be out here for the OB Builders Cup Series right here with the Moonshiners Racing League. And New Hampshire, I mean, it's a technical track. I mean, it really is, Eddie. Obviously very flat. Right at 1 mile, which is why they call it the Magic Mile, as you see right there, Loudon, New Hampshire. And there you see the banking. We was talking about how flat it is, 2 to 7 degrees in the turns. Obviously, progressive banking, the higher that you go up, the more banking that you're going to get. 1 degree even on the front stretch. I think they just need to throw a goose egg right there in that thing, to be honest with you. But I mean, still right on the bottom where the yellow line is, it's more or less at that 1 degree, I guess you could say. But the higher that you go, it's progressively banked up. So, I mean, this is a typical short track right here. Obviously, the modified tour, they come here a lot, and they do a lot of short track racing here at New Hampshire. So, hopefully everybody won't have no beef tonight, Eddie. That's going to be the main thing, is hoping everybody doesn't have any beef. But, I mean, short track racing, it always brings out the beef.
Yeah, it's going to be patience, I feel like, is going to be the key. And very, very hard to pass. And, you know, thankfully tonight, open setups as always here in the Moonshine Racing League. And, yeah, I mean, you're going to have to let that thing roll. We're going to have to pick up the gas, try to find that space, that clean air, and get around if you try to move up through the field. And it feels like right now the big thing is got to get a good qualifying effort and start up front. So, I mean, going to be an interesting race. We'll see. It definitely puts on some pretty good racing here at NI Racing. Just almost a one-groove track. You're going to be fighting for a lot of real estate. Well, let's take a look at our schedule real quick, see where we are, where we've been, where we're going. You see they're right down at the bottom, as we've got just New Hampshire National Super Speedway down on this middle column. So a lot of races already in the books, and we've got some real bangers coming up next. So if you like flat tracks, hey, in a couple weeks you're gonna have all that you can stand. Chicago Street Course, Pocono, which Pocono's not really flat, and Indy, but they all kind of drive very similar. Lots of man, you got to be precise on the throttle. Going to be an interesting little run. And then the run to the playoffs: Richmond, Michigan, Daytona, and Darlington. That is a great little bit right there. Let's take a look at your playoff standings as they run. After last week, Alex Coffey with that win, and he will jump up there in the playoff standings right there in third. But Randy Mullins still leads the way with Matt Cox in second. And you can see how many wins they have and all those stage wins, the playoff points. All that's going to mean a pretty big difference, Jake, as we get down to the playoffs. It doesn't really mean too much now, but it is going to add up quick.
Yeah, I mean, you're right 100%. Obviously, every point matters here with the OB Builders Cup Series. And, you know, one thing that could really throw this for a serious loop is you see these guys that's the first four out right there: John Binder, Jeff Taylor, Justin Belmont, and Nick King. These guys that's the first four out right now. Let's just say, because to be honest with you, obviously we talked about this place being a technical track. But believe it or not, Eddie, I mean, you know, I've talked about it with super speedways as well as road courses, both of those tracks, or types of tracks, I should say, being wild cards. This could be a wild card race right here for some of these guys. So maybe one of those guys is the first four out. They get a win. They lock themselves in with a win and get into the playoffs. It could really shake up where that bubble line is all the way down to 16th, which is where Blaine Wilson is. So I keep my eyes peeled for maybe a surprise winner, because obviously Richmond, I'm thinking here in the next couple of weeks there, Eddie, but New Hampshire, obviously it does produce some first-time winners and possibly some surprise winners as well.
Yeah, Blaine Wilson not looking forward to anybody sneaking in there and getting a win, but it is definitely possible with all the tracks that are coming up. But tonight, I think it's all going to be about your setup, how patient you are in qualifying up front. And I tell you what, speaking of qualifying, we are done. We're getting ready to move into the grid. We'll get this race rolling, and we're going to see who's going to start on the front row. Let's take a look at your V-Speed grid. Alex Coffey going to lead off this field tonight after a win last week. Finally got in the win column for a points race. And Sean Rogers in that number 81 machine is going to start outside front row. Row number 2 is going to be Jeffrey Taylor with Brandon Bikey in that 4th position. In 5th is going to be Matt Cox and Shane Parrish in 6th spot. In 7th could be your points leader, Randy Mullins, Barry Sanders there in 8th. In 9th, Kenny Coppola, glad to have him back. He's had an injury, and he's got that 77 car up in the top 10 to start his first race back, so glad to have him. And you got Jordan Schmeets in 10th.
Then you got Tim Wortman Jr. is going to be starting in P11. Love to see him be able to get up here and get battling with some of these guys. Ryan Huff's going to start on the outside of row number 6 in P12. Paul Gallimore will start in 13th with Caden Norfrey going to be starting in the 14th spot. Paul Whitley is going to start 15th with Chris Davis to his outside in row number 8 in 16th position. Nigel Christensen will start in the 17th spot with, like I've talked about earlier, Eddie, and numerous times, the best name in the whole damn field, Johnny Shade, starting in P18. Warren Young will start in P19, and then Hunter Carmichael rounds out the top 20.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, again, 21st, we got Blaine Wilson. He got that second place finish last week. Going to have a lot of work to do to get up there. And Nick King, who's outside of the point standings looking in, he's going to roll off 22nd. These guys are going to have a lot of work to do here tonight. Darren Mullins in 23rd. Brandon Fetterplace in 24th. In 25th, Jameson Middlemiss with Chris Spear in 26th. 27th, Ed Bowles Jr. with Shane Davis in 28th. 29th, Aaron Matthews. 30th, John Bender. 31st, Nicholas Atwood with Jared Clark in 32nd. And 33rd is Matt Mackey. Well, we're getting this thing rolling. Everybody is gridded up, and they are starting to roll off right now as you see some guys having a tough time getting going, unless I'm missing something here. All right, there they go. Finally get going. I thought we may have been only half the field was going to run tonight there, Jake.
Yeah, there for a second I thought all of them may have been just a little bit scared, but I mean, obviously very, very tough track conditions right there that you see right here from the chopper cam.
A little hard
right
to
here.
see.
Yeah, very hard to see. Barely could even see the damn pace car with the pace lights on right here. So obviously maybe that had a lot to do with why guys wasn't able to fire off right there, Eddie, because probably they couldn't see the cars in front of them, which is going to make this even more trickier than what it already is. But you see Coffey, Sean Rogers up here, Jeffrey Taylor, we talked about him outside of that chip, outside of the 16, up here sitting in 3rd. Watch out for him as you see your race analysis on your screen.
200 laps, 5 tire sets, 1 green white check and a tip, open setup, and 100% fuel load as we're getting ready to go green here in the RSI button boxes. 200, and we're green here at New Hampshire.
Coffey is going to be down on the bottom side. Rogers stuck up on the top side. Coffey going to see if he can try to get clear. Right behind him, Brandon Bikey going to get a shot. He's going to hit Rogers straight into the back bumper, tries to get him going. Taylor's going to slide back a little bit. Bikey's going to go up to 3rd. Taylor back to 4th. And now the 66 as Shane Parrish was able to get around Matt Cox as they work their way into turn 3 coming off of turn 4.
Yeah, you can see them all kind of spread out throughout the field. Guys working the top side, the middle, and sort of the bottom. Not exactly right around the bottom, but right in that middle line. So hopefully we're going to see a lot of movement around the track, give you a lot of opportunities to pass. That's always my worry coming to New Hampshire. It's kind of everybody wanting to run in that same group. So we'll see if they're able to move around, find some space. As, I think we got a wreck back here in the back, and already folks going around. And looks like Jameson Middlemiss has had some sort of issue and has gone around with some others, like Johnny Shade, gone around, Darren Mullins, John Bender may be involved as well. As we'll take a look and see what happened on the replay.
Oh, Eddie, we may have a little bit of beef right here, possibly right on lap 2 of a 200-lap race. Very good possibility. Jameson Middlemiss right here. You're going to see him drive into the corner, and he just kind of gasses up just a little bit too early, gets into the back of Johnny Shade, turns him sideways, and then pretty much it's just a stack up from their own back. Middlemas gets involved, Shade gets involved. I believe that was the 84, I believe, and they end up going around as well. So unfortunate to see for those guys, but it was just a stack up right there. I mean, Middlemas was ready to go. Shade was just trying to roll the corner, and Middlemas just tried to gas up and probably thought Shade was going to gas up a little bit faster than what he really did. It turns out it didn't happen, and now ironically you got Shade and Middlemas back here, basically bumper to bumper right here. So I'm sure Shade's not too happy with all that, but I mean that's short track racing right there. I got a feeling I'm going to say that a lot here tonight, Eddie.
Yeah, and from the looks of it, that everybody kind of staying away from that very bottom groove, and I think when he went down there and gassed it up, the front end just not cooperating, and yeah, he got really tight there when he got on the throttle. So something to think about. A lot of these guys, you see them kind of leaning up to that high side when they're under green. So I just wonder if that bottom just doesn't have exactly what you need, or you just maybe got on the throttle just a little bit too soon. Those flat tracks, you just don't have the banking to lean on that right rear for security. A lot of times you get those 30-degree bank tracks, you can really push the gas and it'll just rotate on around. But here you have to wait till it is ready. It's ready. The car is ready to turn. If you get on any sooner, that's exactly what happened. So first caution of the night here on lap 2 or 3, and so we're already kind of, like you said, starting to have a little bit of beef, and that's all going to carry over as we go on it. And just, I don't know. Like I said, I think the cars, I don't think are having a big issue of visibility, but you just never know with the way this fog is. I don't know what happened here, but maybe they're going to have to get the rain tires out.
Yeah, I mean, there's a good possibility. Honestly, I would love to see that, to be honest with you. I mean, you go back to Middlemas being down there on that bottom side, obviously very, very flat. It will get progressively steeper, if you want to put it that way, when they jump up to the second lane, which is, it jumps dramatically from where it is on the bottom. It doesn't look like much, folks, but right there on the very bottom where the yellow line is, it's damn near about as flat as the front stretch is. Once they jump up to that second lane, that's where it just, it feels like you're riding over a bump. I mean, that's just how quick it decides to jump up right there from that second lane all the way up. So, think about it like this, folks. You're trying to turn on a flat road, and you're trying to turn basically on a dime and just trying to be able to make it stick. When you're moving as fast as these cars is when they're going through the corners, it's kind of hard to try to make it stick. So I think that's why a lot of guys is running up. As you see them already right here getting ready for this restart, already trying to stay off of the bottom of that racetrack, jumping up to the second and even third lane with the guys on the outside. That's normal right there. That's going to be literally the preferred racing line, but I wouldn't be surprised to see guys dive down all the way to the inside and even try to cut below the yellow line to try to dive down there and try to make a pass. So these restarts is going to be pretty crazy.
I'm glad you said that, because I think that is a strategy we've seen multiple times, is that using that apron to help you turn. I've seen it in some truck races, have been successful. Curious to see if anybody decides to do that tonight. Getting ready to get this thing back rolling. We got 200 laps to do. These guys are going to have to find a little bit of patience. We're going to get through this, and we got to get through this today. I don't know, darkness and fog might be bad, so we'll see. Green flag is back out for Alex Coffey as he gets a great restart.
Coffey's able to get a pretty good jump. Now Rogers going to see if he can slide in right behind him. Coffey took the outside lane, which is something you're going to see a whole lot of, especially with the leader here on these initial restarts. Coffey's got the lead. Rogers in second. Now Bakke and Taylor trying to battle for the third spot. Comes Shane Parrish. He's going to try to stick his nose in there. 77, Kenny Coppola. You talked about him, Eddie. He is racing injured, and he's up here inside the top 10 right beside Matt Cox in the 32.
Yeah, it's good to have him back. He has been a front runner all season long, and every time we have an interview, there is somebody that is giving him props for building the setups that they run and run up front with. He has definitely got that figured out. And right now, continues to try to make up some spots. Matt Cox going to drive down to the inside, but we'll see if Kenny can make that outside work. And so far, it looks like that outside line is pretty strong, just like what we saw in real life. You see the run that Kenny is able to get off the corner, clears Matt Cox, and now moves himself up into the 6th position. So Kenny going to the front, taking that setup up to the front, and he is definitely looks like he is pretty fast here early up front. We got a pass for the lead starting to brew as Sean Rogers in that number 81 machine going to look down to the inside of Alex Coffey. We'll see if he can complete the pass. This will be a pretty good barometer of how this race is going to go. As you can see that fog, just how bad it is. We apologize, but we don't really have a whole lot to say about the weather. As Sean Rogers do a little side drafting down into the corner, but that outside seems really strong, though Sean does get on the gas as they come off of turn 2 side by side.
Side by side, door to door with Sean Rogers and Alex Coffey. And talking about the fog, I wouldn't trust the damn virtual spotters not for 1 second here tonight. It's going to be hard for them to see anything. Rogers has took a couple of shots right here with Coffey, but Coffey able to get the run coming off the top side, off of the corner. Rogers has to get out of the gas. He's not able to get it on the throttle pedal as much as Coffey is because Rogers has to get out of the gas. If he doesn't, he's going to slam straight into Coffey, basically door bang him all the way up to the wall. So that's what is at a disadvantage right here for Rogers, but Rogers not giving up down here on this inside as you ride on board with Rogers. Check him out right there, obviously in that second lane, keeping it off the bottom, trying to keep it on that progressive banking. And one thing about this, Eddie, he was talking about getting down on the apron and trying to get the car to turn. I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe Rogers or some of these other guys right there where that first seam is that you see him almost straddling. I wouldn't be surprised to see some guys try to straddle that seam. That will end up making that car turn as well. And it may look like Rogers tried it right there. He's still at Coffey's door going into 3. Rogers may end up getting him before it's all said and done.
Yeah, this is a great battle, and like I said earlier, I think it's going to be an interesting barometer to kind of see how hard it is to pass. And so far, it looks like that outside is just really good at holding folks off. And Sean just really struggling to get the run through the middle exit that he needs. But that time by, though, he got a really good run down this straightaway. Oh, somebody's going down to the inside wall, but Sean Rogers has a nose out ahead as they go down into turn 3, and Alex Coffey just sends it down in the corner.
Yeah, he sent it down in there, and he was able to make it stick, but now Rogers able to fight hard on the inside. Brandon Bikey sitting back there in the 3rd spot in the number 1. I mean, if Rogers ends up slipping right here, Bikey's going to slide right past him. And I'll tell you this much, Bikey better not slip. Taylor may end up getting him. But new leader, Sean Rogers, able to sneak right by Alex Coffey. Coffey had to get out of the gas, almost got up into the wall. So Rogers will go to lead, kick Coffey back to 2nd. Bikey still holding on to that 3rd spot. Taylor not too far back from him. Shane Parrish, that is the top 5 right now. Some big moving going on right here. These guys really racing very hard, but very clean and very respectful, at least for right now up here at the front.
Yeah, on board, Brandon Bikey is now, he is trying to push forward with Alex Coffey and try to take over that spot as we go on board with him. He's got that VR headset on and got that dadgum vertical camera he is so known for. But it's going to be kind of hard to see just a little bit, but he is definitely going to be a threat here tonight. Alex Coffey looks like he's fading back just a little bit here on lap 15, but we've seen Alex enough this season to know that he is very, very good on the long run. And while it seems like he's falling back right now, I have really no indication that he is losing ground other than just trying to save those tires, because he always seems to come back towards the end of the run. But right now, Sean Rogers starting to pull away here on lap 16 and starting to separate himself from the field. And you kind of see the guys behind Coffey just kind of maybe ready to go, saying, wait a minute, the leader's starting to pull away. I need to go.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what it is. I think Bikey's probably had enough of it. Bikey's going to send it down to the inside, try to see if he can get around Coffey. He has to get out of the gas. Coffey able to get the run on the outside. Rogers is leading. Shout out to the live chat out there. Amanda Price chiming in here for Sean Rogers. Hell of a time for you to show up, because Sean Rogers up here in the lead, watching right behind him in his mirror this hellacious battle between Coffey and Bikey back here. Side by side, door to door at the line. Bikey may get the advantage going into turn 1. He's going to send it in really hard. Gets a little bit loose. He is almost clear now. He's going to get clear. So now Coffey going to slide back to 3rd. Bikey will go to 2nd.
Yeah, that's some really good, respectful racing. That's the way it seems to go early in these races. Everybody giving each other room, and it seems to make the passes take a little bit longer. But we've seen quite a few races now that as we get to the end of the race, just like in real life, there'll be less and less room given. And but so far, everybody racing really respectful as we're going to go on board with Jeffrey Taylor here. Look at him up inside the top 5. And, man, that 23 car, he's had some really bad luck over the last few weeks. I know he would love to get a really good finish, if not a win here tonight. We talked about him in the playoff standings. He is one of the first 4 out, 76 points below the cutoff. And, you know, it's got to be frustrating, Jake, knowing that, a win and you're in, but also you do not want to keep having bad races. You got to get in there and finish races. I think in real life, Kyle Busch is sort of in that scenario where he's kind of trying to go all in, having a bunch of wrecks, trying to get up there and maybe try to win a race, but is starting to give up really good finishes for some Hail Marys. And so I think Jeff would love to just get a good, solid finish here tonight. But, yeah, man, when you're in the top 5, you really want to get up there and battle for this win.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Jeffrey Taylor doing fantastic up here inside the top 5. Obviously, don't want to be like Kyle Busch. End up getting you a little knuckle sandwich over at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. Obviously, you don't want to be in that situation. But Taylor, obviously, it's like you said, he's one of the first 4 out. I mean, granted, it's like you said, that win is very tempting to try to get up there and get it. But then if you try to get up there and you get a shot at that win and then you end up screwing up or somebody ends up screwing you up, then you go from possibly winning, possibly getting the top 5 to all the way back to 24th. That's just how tight that this field can be. So, I mean, you want to string off some good races, some decent races, get you a couple decent finishes, get you a couple of top 5s in a row and see how quick that deficit from the bubble changes, because it will change in a hurry, not wait Sunday. Why? Because some people will start to have problems. Those guys that is up there around that bubble line, eventually, I mean, Eddie, we've seen it numerous times. It usually ends up happening. Someone around that bubble ends up catching some bad luck. So if I'm Taylor, I'm very, very happy with where I'm sitting at right now, comfortably in that 4th position. May end up trying to get a hold of Alex Coffey before it's all said and done. But if I'm Taylor, I'm tickled death to be up here. And obviously with those stage points that will be coming in later, that's obviously going to help his campaign to try to get into that round of 16.
Yeah, no doubt. Starting to string out a little bit in the top 3 as this little group right here that Jeffrey Taylor is leading, or Alex Coffey is leading. And you can see Jeffrey starting to look down to the insides. And honestly, Coffey looks a little bit loose, especially on exit. These guys obviously shifting. And you can see Jeffrey Taylor kind of started to smell blood there as coming off the corner. We've seen that a couple times. Alex really lighting the rears up. And in iRacing, man, when you light those rears up, it does not take long for it to really bother you for the next, 10 laps if you're not careful. iRacing is all about heat. I think it's very much like real life. They do such a good job. Tire wear, not really that important, especially here at a flat track. But the heat that you get in those rear tires, you do not want to spin them too much, as you'll start to lose more and more grip. And you'll continue to drop like a rock. So right now, Alex, going to have to be careful. Keep those tires cool. Keep the rear end under him. But I don't know, man. Look how much cars are kind of stacked up behind Coffey. I don't know if he's having a problem. I thought he would start to move back up towards the front. But right now, Sean Rogers, 30.8. Alex Coffey, 31.2. He's well off the pace at the moment.
Yeah, Rogers is really putting down some seriously fast lap times right now. Brandon Bakke also putting down some good lap times, sitting in the 2nd spot, hit a 31.0, and obviously Rogers still in the 30s. But Jeffrey Taylor's looking a little bit like, I guess he's starting to get a little bit impatient, I guess you could say. He's took a couple shots at Coffey. Coffey's still holding them up. Parrish may end up getting a little bit impatient back there, as well as Kenny Coppola, Matt Cox, Barry Sanders, these guys up here in this position. So a lot of guys obviously getting very impatient right now behind Alex Coffey, basically holding them up. And I mean, honestly, he's not really doing anything wrong, honestly, Eddie. I mean, Coffey's not doing anything wrong. All he's doing is just running his line. It is tough to pass here at New Hampshire. It always has been. So that's going to be one of the keys, obviously, tonight is going to be track position. And then like you were talking about with Coffee, lighting up the rear tires. That's going to be a key as well for those rear tires. And you got to be able to try to, I guess you could say, balance that. It's got to be track position and not lighting those rear tires up. That's going to be the key tonight for success here at New Hampshire.
Oh, and Alex Coffey knocks down the wall and exit a 4. Kind of gets stuck to it. Doesn't lose a position from it, but you could definitely tell that number 15 is not driving the way he wants it to. And you know, I think this is one of those tracks you can definitely lean on somebody. You can try to move them up out of the way, and I think at some point that's what's going to happen here. Is I would imagine towards the end of the race for sure, trying to make these passes just get so difficult that you're going to have to move the guy. We saw that in real life with Denny Hamlin moving Kyle Larson out of the way, just saying, I don't have time for this. And, you know, just wonder how long this goes before it starts to get physical. But right now, I mean, running it, we still got a stage to a couple stages to get. So not a huge rush right now, but that's stage 3. I think we're going to see a lot of folks that aren't being as patient. And you can see the patience starting to run out here, Jake, and some guys jumping up to the outside, trying some different lines. We're getting side by side back here from 3rd on back to 8th.
Yeah, Matt Cox has had enough. He's going to try to dip to the inside of Kenny Coppola, but Coppola able to get the run off of the quarter, but Cox going to send it in hard on that inside. Now here comes Tim Workman Jr., started 11th. He's worked his way up here inside the top 10, battling with Barry Sanders. Wow, Cox and Coppola, they door bang coming off of turn 2. Cox really trying to advance through the field. He's got to be careful. Slides up, almost slides right up into his door. And Eddie, one other thing I was talking about, or one other thing that you were talking about a second ago, when is that time to go ahead and start trying to move people? Obviously not right now, because still 200 laps in this race. We're only on lap 32 right here, folks. You don't want to end up trying to move somebody at this point, and then later on in the race, they end up being able to have a shot back at you. So obviously the bumpers will end up beaten, which will be a new one. They'll be bumper banging, I guess if you want to put it that way, Eddie. But you know, obviously we know that is going to happen. I just think it's way too early to try to do that. You want to try to show that you got a little bit of patience out there on the racetrack. As we're seeing 3 wide, these guys, they got no patience. They said the hell with patience.
Oh, that contact!
Cox gets into Copeland. Cox is going to go around, cautions out.
Yeah, I kind of felt that brewing. We were talking about it, and it was just a matter of time right there. I think patience, you said it was going out the window, and Matt Cox goes to the inside. Kenny Coppola says, no, you won't. And he just makes it. They go 3 wide for a moment, and Matt, just like what we saw with Middle Miss earlier in the race, just not able to keep it down 3 wide, and they both go around. Let's take a look at that one more time. You can see Matt Cox just going to pull out here. Goes down to the inside. We'll watch from on board Barry Sanders get a little bit better look. And you can see the 32 trying to gas it up right there, but they're 3 wide. And what a job by Kenny Coppola to keep the tires up under him. That could have been disastrous, but Matt kind of does a half spin, gets back going. He able to maintain the 15th position. So, but yeah, I mean, we were kind of I don't know. I felt that coming. It was I thought it was going to come a little bit earlier, but man, it finally showed its ugly head. It's just how hard it is to pass here. It is very difficult. Alex Coffey obviously struggling. Kind of showed he might go down pit road, but with just 10 laps in the stage, he has been able to maintain that 3rd position. We do have a few drivers coming down pit road. We'll see if they take tires. They have 5 in the pits, led by Ryan Huff in that number 93 machine. And you can see, looks like Matt Cox is going to come down after that half spin. So maybe some stage flippers here, Jake.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very good possibility with what you're seeing right there on the racetrack. I mean, and, you know, going back to that accident, I mean, Cox sent it. He had enough of riding around us all. Here we go. We got the strobe lights. We got the club in the house right there with Shane Parrish right there. Got those crazy strobe lights off. I talked about it last week when we were at Iowa, that there's no way in hell that I'd be able to have that right there in my sim rig, because it would just, I mean, I would have nightmares. To be honest with you folks, all I'd be seeing is just yellow lights while I'm trying to sleep in the bed. But I mean, going back to that accident that we were talking about with Cox and Coppola and Parrish, I mean, Cox sent it. He was able to try to make it stick. He was coming up. The bad part about it is Coppola, like you said, was able to keep the tires up under him. But at the same time, when he put the throttle down, he got loose and came down into Cox. So, I mean, that was kind of a double whammy for, I guess you could say, right there for Cox. I mean, he tried to make it stick. He did make it stick, but he was going to come up and hit him eventually. And then Coppola, back tires just spun right there when he got loose, and he just came down and tail slapped him. And I mean, it's nothing intentional, but at the same time, the aggressiveness is going to pick up for the stage points. The aggressiveness is going to pick up for stage 2 for stage points, and also for stage 3 all the way down to the end. Because, hey, it's like we said, Eddie, you win and you end. So it's going to get interesting.
Getting ready to go back green. Going to have less than 10 laps to go in this stage. Sean Rogers has been lights out here, but we're going to see what Brandon Bikey, Jeffrey Taylor might be able to do here. Can Alex Coffey summon up a little bit extra as he's really been struggling? Green flag is out for Sean Rogers as he gets a great jump, and the battle is going to be for second with Jeffrey Taylor on the outside, Brandon Bikey there on the inside. Bikey going to diamond it off the corner and take over that second spot, and Jeffrey Taylor going to try to hold off Alex Coffey, who looks down to the inside.
Coffey trying to see if he can get going. Rogers on that restart, shot out like a damn slingshot, like a rock coming out of a slingshot. Here comes Taylor. Taylor gets loose. Hell of a save by Jeffrey Taylor. Obviously,
hell of a move by Alex Coffey.
Yeah, I mean, hell of a move by him. I mean, hell of a race, hell of a situation by both of them, because that could have been disastrous for both of those guys. But now Taylor, he's going to end up getting freight trained. Here comes Coppola. Coppola's going to go by him. And check it out. Up front, Bikey took a shot, but he thought better of it. He drops back in line. There for a second, I thought we was going to see Bikey try to send it on the inside for the lead, but they're still battling back here, trying to get around Jeffrey Taylor. Now Parrish and Wortman Jr., they battle as well.
That was a wild move by Alex Coffey. And speaking of wild, look back here for this battle that's going on between Brandon Fetterplace and the 3 of Hunter Carmichael. This is just like in real life. This is the dog fight back here in the 16th position. Up front, it is definitely wild. That slide job by Alex Coffey was really impressive, but look at what these guys are dealing with. This is constant every single lap. These guys are 2 by 2 all the way back into the 20th position. This is, man, this is where you gotta try to make moves, use the bumper, get physical. We saw some 3-wide battling here on this restart. These guys trying to get all that they can get. And look at this. Hunter Carmichael trying to get to the outside. Oh, the 17, Nigel Christensen into the wall, makes contact, and they go scattering.
Yeah, Christensen was able to get a little bit loose coming off of turn 2, and they scattered trying to get around them. This right here, Eddie, is what I call the damn hornet's nest, and Cox is trying to see his way out of it as quick as he possibly can. Blaine Wilson, Ed Boyles Jr. up on the top side. Cox is going to be able to get by both of them. But, I mean, you see so many cars that's right up here in front of Cox. It's a straight-up hornet's nest, especially with a lot of guys coming off of turn 2. There's a huge-ass bump when they come off of turn 2 where they can easily step on the gas just a little bit too much, and the back end can come around. I think that's what happened with Nigel Christensen right there with a little bit of that rear wheel spin that we were talking about, Eddie. But I'm telling you, it's a hornet's nest back here. I'm telling you, I hope that Cox is able to make it through it because, I mean, he's got a lot of hornets up there, and he's just driving right into the middle of that nest.
Yeah, Blaine Wilson had also had some sort of issue earlier in the race, and he started in 21st and made up a few spots, and then just I think he got loose or got spun. 1 and 2, we kind of missed it. We were watching the battle up front, but he has now been able to work himself back into the top 20. So last week's runner-up got a lot going on. I mean, look at the mess it's still back here. It is a log jam back here. You see a little bit of contact. Ed Boyles Jr. gets into the back of Ryan Huff. So Ryan Huff got those 4 tires. Chris Davis up in the 15th position. Looks like he took 4 as well. So some guys that took some tires, trying some different strategy. We'll see how it plays out. Back up front, Bikey is trying to hunt down Sean Rogers. Bikey seems to have really good speed. And Sean looks like he was going to step away from the field there. But Bikey, after that caution, has come back alive. And he is right on the front bumper of Sean Rogers.
Yeah, I mean, he's trying to see if he can get there. Obviously, both of them starting to kind of check out right now from Alex Coffey, Kenny Copeland, and Jeffrey Taylor, who is the top 5 right now. But you see the battle on your screen. This is for the lead and possibly the win of stage number 1 right here. Bikey keeps on getting that pressure on Rogers, but Rogers is basically racing right now like he's got ice in his veins right now. And one thing about this right here, Eddie, that we did not see on that playoff grid that we saw just a while ago with everybody in the round of 16 and the guys with the first one out. Eddie, you may have to correct me. I didn't see Sean Rogers' name on that. So you may have to correct me on that, but somewhere in all that, I did not see Sean Rogers' name on there. So this could be one of those, quote unquote, like I was saying earlier, could be one of those surprise winners here tonight.
Well, I believe Sean Rogers has a win on the season. Oh, caution is finally out as Sean Rogers does take the stage win, but Sean Rogers is a fill-in driver for Matthew Campbell tonight, and he actually won as a fill. I believe I have to go back and look 100%, but I think he did win or had a great finish as a fill-in driver earlier this season. So Sean Rogers knows how to get in victory lane, but not going to be a threat for a championship as he's just a sub driver tonight. So, but hey, he has got the stage 1. Regardless if he's going to be racing for a championship, he's racing for a trophy tonight. He gets the win here in stage number 1. So Sean Rogers got out front early and really never looked back, but Bikey looked like he was on the hunt there towards the end of that stage. So Bikey also fast. I think this is going to be a pretty incredible race as we cross over to lap 47, and pit stops going to be looming for these guys. We'll see what they decide to do. I wonder if we're going to see some 2-tire stops in this one. Maybe some guys that stay out. I don't know if they can make it all the way to lap 90, but sometimes in these shorter tracks you can make it a while. So we'll see what they decide to do. 2 tires, 4 tires. What are you going to do, Jake?
I mean, obviously, I'm going to go with 4 tires right here within this, this instance. That's exactly what I'm going to go with, 4 tires. Some of these guys you see starting to work their way around. A lot of those guys decided to go ahead and forfeit, I guess you could say, that stage 1 and just go ahead and just go to the back and try to flip it. So obviously they're going to advance up through the field and they're going to jump up to the front. And I like the call by some of those guys to be able to just go ahead and forfeit stage 1 and flip it. So I like that call. Hell, I done that Monday night. And, well, if you want to know how my race went Monday night here at New Hampshire, you can listen to the Door Bang and download on Spotify. I'm sure it's going to be a real good one. But there you see, I believe it was Coffey that was able to beat them all off right there. Bikey, Rogers, and Taylor. That's the first 4 that was able to jump off of pit road. Looked like they took 4 tires right there, Eddie, so I'm not surprised to see that.
Yeah, 4 tires. Man, it was so close there on the exit. I thought Bikey got Coffey, but Coffey was able to get off the pit road. And with a 14.1 stop versus Brandon Bikey's 14.5. So Coffey able to make the difference on the dice roll. You like to see that. But up front, it is those guys who flipped the stage 13 laps ago. Chris Davis now is up front, and he is going to try to get the stage 2 win, try to get some of this track position. All of these guys up front are looking to try to get some of that free track position, hang on to it for stage 2. Let's take a minute and let's talk to our stage winner, Sean Rogers, who's able to get the stage win. Sean, this is Eddie and Jake in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys. How you doing?
Well, hey, we're doing good. You're doing good, too. That car looks really, really fast. You're a fill-in driver, and you're doing a great job so far. How is that car driving? What do you need to do to maybe make it a little bit better? Brandon Bikey looks like he was pretty quick there at the end.
Yeah, the car is absolutely on rails. It's super quick, as you could probably tell. I got a little, I was trying to build a big gap, so I burnt my tires up probably a little more than I wanted to, so it definitely came to play there at the end. With Bikey, he probably only needed another lap to get by me, so luckily the stage came when it did. But yeah, great car. Kenny Coppola knocked another one out of the park. Can't really ask for much more out of this thing.
Well, you're going to start in the 8th position here. How do you attack this second stage as y'all get ready to go green?
Just be patient. You don't got to make it all back at once. I know these guys, I don't know when they pit, but they're going to be a little bit older tires, so just be patient, pick them off one by one, and try not to do anything dumb and wreck myself before the end of this thing.
All right, one last question. We'll make it quick. How are you making passes on this track? We've seen it be very difficult. What's the trick?
Man, it is tough. You almost got to just dive it in there, and hope they get a little loose out of the turn or make a mistake and you can capitalize. But yeah, it is tough out here.
All right, there you have it. Thank you for talking to us, Sean.
Yep.
Almost called him Shane. Shane Rogers. Sean, there's too many Shane Sanders. There's a lot of them out there, but appreciate him talking to us. But Chris Davis is the man right now as he's going to be out front. And we are going to go back green here on lap 50, going to 90 for stage number 2. We'll see what these old tires can do versus these new tires. Alex Coffey, first one on new tires in 5th. Green flag is out.
Davis able to shoot out basically like that rock out of the slingshot, just like Sean Rogers was able to do before that stage 1 end. Is there you see Sean Rogers
Coffey.
Back here. Coffey
Three
wide. Little contact right there with Chris Spear. And Spear still down on the bottom. Coffey stuck in the middle. Now Spear gets clear. Coffey trying to see if he can gas up and go. Here comes Warren Young in the 10. He's going to dive to the inside of that number 16 of Jamison Middlemiss. And also right behind him, here comes Sean Rogers in that 81. And Eddie, I know you were talking about a little door banging between Middlemiss and Rogers, but obviously him being, I guess you could say, a fill-in driver, he could still play spoiler like I was talking about. Granted, he may not be one of those guys that can win and get in, but he could play spoiler for some of these guys that need to get that win and get in.
Yeah, and he talked about being patient there, but I think Alex Coffey set the tone for that restart. Alex saying, you know what, I got to go, and went 3 wide there, just sent it in there and made it stick. And I think Sean Rogers almost immediately decided he was going to do the exact same thing. He knows he's got to keep up with that 15, knows he's a little bit faster. He does not want to get kind of stuck back here. So while they said we're going to be a little bit patient, you don't have to get it all in one go. Guess what? Sean Rogers up to the 5th spot. Alex Coffey up to 4th after just a couple laps. So they were making moves there to get up to the front. And right now, though, Chris Davis pulling away a little bit as now it looks like the battle is for 3rd place. Is Coffey going to go down to the inside of Chris Spear?
And we got a caution on the speedway. Caution is out. Looking through the field, Nicholas Atwood, the 19, and Ryan Huff. Both of them getting involved coming off of turn 4. So caution is out once again. And it's going to get a little bit interesting right here because you're going to see Huff. He's going to slide up just a little bit, tries to dart back down. He gets loose, comes down. He will collect Nicholas Atwood. You see right there, Huff comes right down. Atwood had nowhere to go. One guy that was up in front of him was all the way up into the wall right there, Eddie. So it was unfortunate to see that. And I'm not 100% if I had anything to do with Huff getting loose. It really looked like Huff just ended up just snapping loose all on his own. And then Nicholas Atwood, he was just an innocent bystander.
Yeah, you can see right there coming off the corner, he had already lit those rear tires up, and he was loose off that corner. And you go see it right here. Just look, it just goes all the way around. 24 was in the wall. Nick King, like you said, yeah. So I don't know, but it just seemed like the rear tires just broke loose and couldn't really do anything with it.
Yeah, I mean, he just basically just went right around right there, tried to dirt track it through there, and he wasn't able to do it. You see right there, the wheel already jacked all the way to around 3 o'clock on the steering wheel. And then, like I said, Nicholas Atwood was just an innocent bystander right there. He gets collected into it as well. Like I said, I mean, it's like you said, it had nothing to do with the 24 getting all the way up into the wall. It was just Huff just trying to hold on to it, and he wasn't able to do it. And now Atwood going to go down into the pits. Huff's going to stay out, but Atwood obviously hit him right there with that right front. You're not really worried about Arrow that much here tonight, Eddie, but still, you hit somebody in that right front, it may do a little bit of wheel damage, so Atwood maybe just going in there just to double check on it.
Yeah, I would imagine, on these flat tracks, you're just overall right front, where the angle, the camber, the toe, all that stuff's really, really important, because that's where all your grip and stuff in turn is coming from. You can't rely on the banking at all. You can't lean on the right rear from middle exit. So trying to get that damage fixed, especially early, you still have that second stage to help get caught back up. So try to get all that damage fixed now. You don't want to wait to the last stage. You may not get another opportunity. So Nicholas Atwood comes down pit road. You're going to get about 27 seconds worth of damage fixed. Didn't look too bad, but he obviously felt like it was enough to come and do something about. So, but Chris Davis, Aaron Matthews holding on. Those are the two guys that came down pit road about 22 laps ago. They're trying to make it obviously to the end of the stage. But I mean, Jake, what we've seen so far is, these guys who are making passes are obviously pretty fast. They started up front, but the 4 tires seems to be pretty important here. So I wonder if we'll see a plateau and equalized, set of tires at some point, or will this 4 tires just eat them up here on this restart?
Well, I mean, that's obviously, the big time balancing act. Is it going to be tires or is it going to be track position? And from my experience, granted, I was in a truck Monday night. I wasn't in a next gen car, but I do remember in that truck race, it was all about track position to a certain extent. And then if you stayed out a little bit too long, then it had to do with the tires. So be interesting right here. It's like I said, Eddie, it's going to be a balancing act with these guys all night long.
Chris Davis chooses the outside. He'll have control of the restart here. Green flag is back out, and you can see Brandon Bikey all over the back bumper of the number 7 and Chris Spear. And Alex Coffey down on the inside. We've seen him make some wild moves here on these restarts, and we'll see if he can do the same now, as it looks like Sean Rogers thought about making it 3 wide down on the bottom, but makes better of it. And so now they're going to be side by side. Alex Coffey now going for that second position. He does that same move again, going to try to sling it in there. This time, could not complete the pass in the middle of the corner. Aaron Matthews is going to hang on to it as Chris Spears gets in the wall.
Yeah, Matthews, he had to get out of the gas because he was already sliding up, and he almost threw it up into the wall, so he had to get out of the gas. Coffey on those fresh tires just basically sent it right around him. So Coffey will go to second, kick Matthews back to third. Vikey back here still trying to battle off Spears. He's able to get a hold of that 4th spot. And Chris Spear now, he's going to get bypassed. Rogers is going to go by. Taylor trying to go by. Matt Cox, welcome back to the top 10, sir. He is up here sitting in the 8th spot with Kenny Coppola back there, as well as also, believe it or not, Randy Mullins has entered the conversation and got up here in the middle of this Hornets nest as well. I know Randy's got a lot of fans out there in the live chat. So Randy Mullins, that 54, has entered his name into the conversation of trying to be in the middle of this Hornets nest, and he's in a side-by-side battle with the 10 of Warren Young.
This top 10 is loaded with, it's caution out on the track. Looks like Nick King has gone around. Maybe Nicholas Atwood again. Nicholas Atwood going back-to-back under these cautions is, frustrating for that number 19 machine. But Nick King may have been where this started. We'll take a look real quick and see what happened.
Yeah, Eddie, that's exactly what it was. King basically, honestly, he done the same damn thing that Ryan Huff did. Nobody touched him. He just ended up going around Barry Sanders, Carmichael. They get in, they tag him, and then Nicholas Atwood, once again, an innocent bystander, 2 cautions in a row, ends up driving straight into somebody else's door after it was all said and done. You see King up there, obviously back in, just snaps loose. Sanders tries to get on the brakes. He ends up tagging him in the left rear. Carmichael shot around, and then there comes Atwood. He tried to go as low as he could, otherwise trying to mow the damn lawn down there, and he just wasn't able to get low. Either that or King just ended up right there on his front bumper. So unfortunate for Nicholas Atwood. Obviously, you want to try to stay at the back, a good ways back to try to miss all the action and try to miss all the chaos. But unfortunately for Atwood, 2 cautions in a row, he's been involved somehow, some way.
Yeah, definitely is frustrating. He's back down on pit road, getting maybe a little bit more damage fixed as Barney. The right arm he's got it stretched out. He's not tired just yet, Jake. He is he's able to hang on to that flag. He's got it up in the air. He's proud to display his flag as we're under caution yet again here on lap 62. Still got a long way to go. We're just over a quarter of the way through this race. This race can be very, very long if these guys don't calm down and take a break. And it's you start to feel the fatigue of the broadcasters as cautions keep flying at a track like this. There is still such a long race left, a lot of laps left in this thing. You got to calm down to get to get to the end of these stages, get to lap 90, get to that final stage. But it's just a testament to what we've talked about already, Jake. It's so hard to pass that guys are trying all that they can, maybe a little money shift here and there, just driving it down to the bottom, not being able to hold it, just all kinds of stuff just based on, hey, I can't make a pass. It's very difficult. So
Yeah, I mean, it is very, very difficult. Obviously, this track, I mean, Eddie, I mean, me and you, we've raced here before, and next gen cars, Xfinity cars, trucks, whatever. We've raced here, and this place is not that hard to get around. I think what it is like you were talking about, I think it's just got a lot to do with the patience of these guys trying to get on that loud pedal, trying to get up there and get in front of that next guy because they know the passing is just so hard.
Well, we're going to see more of it right here as green flag back out. Alex Coffey gets a great jump there. He's going to take back over the lead as now here comes Brandon Bikey to get to the inside of Chris Davis there on those old tires, but he's done a fantastic job of hanging on as he's now going to fall back into the third place. He's got cars going all over the place as Matt Cox dives deep down to the inside, trying to make a move here as he's back up. Oh, and he's going to spin it. Oh, and he makes contact with Kenny Coppola, and he saves it, Jake.
Hell of a save by Cox, but caution is out. And I got a feeling it was because of Cox trying to see if he could try to save it.
Oh, look who it
Still
is,
a hell
Jake.
of a save, and unfortunately, 3 cautions in a row. Nicholas Atwood ends up going up into the wall. Caution is out. Not sure if it was for Cox or for Atwood. And it may have been for Atwood, as you see the 19 right here. Maybe he tried to check up. No, he just got loose too. I mean, Eddie, obviously there's a lot of fog out there on the racetrack. Is it raining? Because we may end up having to throw some damn rain tires on because all these guys are just losing it going into 3 or 4.
I think you were right. I think you were right the first time. I think he saw Matt Cox spinning here, and he's got that brake bias turn crank down, and I think that's exactly what happened. Maybe still a little residual damage, as I think you were right when you said it the first time. He just saw that wreck in front of him, gets on the brakes a little bit too much, and it came around. But, I mean, what a save for Matt Cox, who was pretty much dead in the water there. Look at that.
Wow, I mean, that sucker just snapped sideways like a damn dirt late model, literally, is what it looked like, and a hell of a save right there by Cox. I mean, check this out right here, folks. I mean, riding on board right here, he takes a shot, maybe trying to look 3 wide, with Spear and Taylor right in front of him, and as soon as he drives in there, I mean, he just snaps loose. I mean, I thought it may have been trying to downshift going into the corner, but, I mean, he just snapped loose. I think maybe he jammed on the brakes a little bit too hard, and maybe he got the back end to try to come around a little bit, but still a hell of a save because, like you said, he was dead in the water right there. That right there takes some skill. There's no way I could have done it. I would have ended up, my luck, Eddie, the tires would have gripped to the asphalt as soon as I turned right, and I would have went head on in the wall. That's my luck. That's how that would have worked out for me.
Well, he did a great job. Everybody did around him to not just wad it up. Kenny Coppola was in Code Brown situation there as he was kind of, Matt Cox spun right in front of him, and then he just kind of got loose himself, able to hang on to it. It's a great job by everybody of not just wadding that up. That could have been disastrous. So let's take a look at your, we got these cams here. We always want to show them off as, we'll give you a little bit bigger shot here. Got Jeff Taylor on your webcam tonight. Of course, Shane Parrish with the caution lights there. Kenny Coppola back in the webcam group tonight. Chris Davis, who's been up front, running in third now. He is up there in that top right. Brandon Bikey, Barry Sanders, and Nick King got that Warrior Wraps logo behind him. So definitely appreciate all of them for showing off their cams. We're getting ready to go back green here. These cautions going by pretty quick. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for it. Let's caution laps get by quick. Let's get back to some green flag racing. Pace cars off, Eddie.
Alex Coffey, Brandon Bikey, heavy hitters up front. We'll see if Coffey's been able to make any improvements on that, on these last few stops. Maybe make a little bit of improvement with his right foot. He's out front. He's got that clean air now, but you can see those two on the top side, Brandon Bikey, Sean Rogers, trying to get past these cars on older tires, and that's who he's got to deal with, and they're coming quickly. Brandon Bikey seems to be the fastest guy on the track so far. He's been fast early and fast late. I'm interested to see who can do anything with him. Jake, you looking down the field, who do you see that you might be wanting to keep an eye on as we get into lap 70 of 200?
Well, I mean, honestly, I'm still going to be looking back there around the 4th spot, honestly, Eddie, back there where Sean Rogers is. Sean Rogers trying to work his way around Chris Davis, slide himself up into third. Obviously, Sean Rogers, very, very fast hot rod right there in that number 81. As we got another caution on the speedway, but Eddie, just to make it short, I'm keeping my eye on that 81. And Rogers, as we got a big-ass pile up back here. That one right there, that'll end up shocking anybody right there. Caden Orfrey, Nick King, all of them back here in turn 3. Caution out again.
Yeah, I like that you were kind of wanting to dismiss that so you could get your point in, and you looked and saw that it was a track blocker. Said, oh, we got to talk about this one. Watches this as you see Jordan Smeets get into them. I mean, Jordan Smeets is, I think that I don't want to jump on somebody yet was, and I just wanted to make sure I wasn't giving the wrong name, but Jordan Smeets just goes in there and cleans out half the field, it looks like.
Yeah, he got into Middlemas. Wow, he got into Middlemas. He got into Norfrey, and then basically everybody just tried to jam on the brakes. Wasn't able to do it. Either that or they may have ended up ARCA breaking through there. But check it out. You got Smeets right here. 74 right there. Paul Whitley gets up on the wall. That maybe stacked everybody up. Smeets, he just basically just said the hell with it. He got into Norfrey, and then he got into Middlemas, and then once he ended up getting into Middlemas, he just gassed up and said, screw it, I'm just going to run right over all of them. And then at that point, everybody that was back there, it's like you said, it was a damn track blocker, especially on the inside lane. Everybody was screwed at that point. But there you see right there, Norfrey sitting right in the middle of the track. There comes King. There comes a couple of other drivers. Thought I saw the old one of Matt Mackin in there as well. There's Ryan Huff. I mean, just a lot of guys getting caught up right there and all that. And see one right there, I believe that's Ryan Huff, looked like his whole right front was completely gone. So hard hits right here for some of these guys.
Oh, Nick King with the twofer there as he's as Ryan Huff was coming down off the wall. He makes contact with him and then pushes him down into the stop car of Caden Orfrey. And that 24, look at that. That is... That ain't going to be good. They had a modified race here last weekend, but I don't think it's going to work in this one.
You never know. At this point, Eddie, I'm not surprised by anything. I mean, you never know what could happen right here with these guys. You never know what could happen on iRacing. So there is a possibility that may end up working out for him right there. Obviously, he's going to be running a lot hotter than what he usually would because he's not even going to have a grill. So the whole radiator is going to be showing the whole time, literally running like a damn modified. But you never know. I mean, he may have a car that basically looked like it went through, I guess you could say, a destruction or junkyard or whatever, and he still may end up getting a top 10. You never know.
Yeah, I tell you what, I'm looking here inside the top 10, and somebody we haven't mentioned at all today, Shane Davis in that number 79 beast mode Toyota Camry, started 28th, Jake, running in 7th as we get ready to go green. That's somebody to keep your eye on. Seems like he's got a pretty fast piece as we get ready to the pace car going to pull off. Alex Coffey, Brandon Bikey going to lead us down to the green flag.
Here we go. Green flag is in the air, and Coffey down on the bottom side. Bikey up top. Coffey's going to get clear. Here comes Davis. Davis is going to send it down on the inside. Try to get around Bikey. Bikey going to see if he can try to follow Coffey. Right behind him, you got Rogers. You got Matthews started 29th. All the way up here inside the top 5. Spear gets loose. That's going to send Coppola around. That's also going to send Shane Davis around to the outside. See if he can try to get around Spear. And like you said, Shane Davis knows how to get around these flat tracks. Remember a couple of weeks ago, Gateway? It's a little bit flat, just like this place.
Yeah, I mean, he is on the same tire strategy as Alex Coffey, Brandon Bikey. Those that stayed out, like Chris Davis, who is doing a great job of staying up towards the front, that's going to end up playing really well for them. But Shane Davis has been one of the few drivers who's been able to drive up through the field here. And, man, he is looking pretty quick here as he's watching this battle between the 77 of Coppola and Aaron Matthews. But up front, you can see Sean Rogers starting to try to clear the 29 and set his sights on the 2 leaders as Brandon Bikey is trying to run down your leader, Alex Coffey. So it's starting to cycle back around. But I'm going to be honest with you, Chris Davis, Aaron Matthews done a great job on those old tires.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those things, that I was talking about as well. Try to balance the tires as well as the track position. Obviously, track position maybe a little bit more key. And Shane Davis almost lost the car, but he's able to save it. But he goes all the way from setting up around the 5th spot all the way back to the 21st spot. We'll check it out once again on an instant replay. He took a shot to try to get around Matthews right here, and then the car just breaks loose. I mean, nobody touched him right there, and almost ran it straight into the barrels. And folks, I'm gonna tell you right now, them barrels, they don't move. It's like hitting a damn concrete wall. Them barrels are not gonna move, not one bit right there.
Look
Shane
here.
Davis able to avoid all that chaos. Check it out. Going to second, Sean Rogers in the 81.
Got around Brandon Bikey, now going to set his sights on Alex Coffey, and here comes Kenny Coppola. Those new tires, Chris Davis getting a little bit loose off the corner as Aaron Matthews going to look down to the inside, but those guys have been running up front all night long, working their way to the front, and I feel bad, honestly, for the 79 of Shane Davis. I think a little bit of broadcaster curse on I hadn't said anything about him. He's been fine. Oh, caution, back out on the speedway. Can't talk about nothing. They keep kind of throwing cautions. Sir, we talk
Another
about one thing, caution comes out.
34 end up going around. That's Brandon Fetterplace ends up going around over in 3 and 4. Hell of a little turn back there around 3 and 4, Eddie. A lot of crap's been going on back here. Check it out again on the instant replay. Fetterplace, Cox, they get involved. And then Fetterplace ends up getting loose, slides right up in front of Blade Wilson in the 18. Blaine had nowhere to go. You see it once again. Fetterplace down to the inside. Tries to get it to stick, and then boom, here comes Blaine Wilson. Drives it straight into the right, or basically right rear, right side door, however you want to look at it, and just drives it straight in there. Wilson had absolutely nowhere to go. This is going to be a hell of a ride right here, folks. This is going to be hard to watch. Oh. Hard impact right there for Wilson.
That's a bad feeling because he thought he was going to spin down to the inside. He had him cleared, and he's probably thinking, I'm in the clear. I'm good to go. I'm going to miss this wreck, and then that overcorrection right in front of him. And that's big damage on that number 18 machine.
Yeah, that's hard. I mean, that's heartbreaking to see right there for Blaine Wilson. Obviously, right there at that bubble line that we've been talking about, sitting right there in 16th spot. Trying to be able to try to make sure that he can get into that round of 16 and make it into the playoffs. Obviously got second last week with Alex Coffey up there getting the win. And Blaine talked about it last week, Eddie. You know, Blaine talked about it. You know, hell, I'd be crazy if I didn't end up trying to go up there and maybe think, you know, that I had a shot to win. Obviously, he wanted to win. Everybody wants to win. And he was in prime position to be able to win. It's just Coffey got the better of him that week. And obviously, 64 points above that cut line. This is not going to help him out, not one bit, because he is still down on pit road, going one lap down as the leaders go by him right now.
Yeah, I think that damage is going to be pretty bad. And somebody other than the 79 that we talked about, Brandon Fetterplace, he had made his way up through the field, and after that wreck, going to fall way back. He was on the hunt like the 79 was, had a great run up through there. And just like the 79, going to have to do it all over again. But, I mean, he did it before lap 80. If he can get that damage fixed, I guess he can do it again, get back into that top 10. Speaking of your top 10, Alex Coffey, Sean Rogers, Kenny Coppola, Chris Davis, Aaron Matthews, your top 5. Those two, Chris Davis, Aaron Matthews, did a great job of maintaining these positions. Just 10 laps to go in this stage, and they have netted quite a few spots by staying out or flipping that caution. And a little bit older tires, but they've been doing a good job of holding them off. Randy Mullins, your points leader, sneaking up there in 6th place. Jeffrey Taylor in 7th. Matt Cox in 8th. Tim Wortman Jr., somebody we hadn't talked about here tonight. He is on a long race winless streak, and I know he would love to never hear that phrase uttered again if he can get up there and get this win, but he is going to have some work to do. As you get up into the top 10, it is just monster after monster you got to pass. And then Hunter Carmichael in that 10th spot.
Yeah, I mean, literally, this is the best right here. Literally in the top 10 right here for the Moonshiners Racing League with OB Builders Cup Series. I mean, this is the best that they've got right up here in the top 10. And some of those guys that is the best, they're back there around maybe 19th. You see back there Brandon Bikey sitting back there in the 19th spot. Shane Parrish back there. Shane Davis. All those guys literally 19th, 20th, and 21st. All of them prime guys here with the OB Builders Cup Series. So a lot of heavy hitters up there. Obviously, I'd love to see Tim Wortman Jr. Get the win. I mean, he would be the sentimental pick, at least for me, Eddie, but he's got a lot of guys that he's got to go through to try to get it done.
Yeah, getting ready to go green. Alex Coffey with control of the restart for your Brandon Bikey, Shane Parrish, Shane Davis, John Bender. Those guys in the back, if you're wondering where they go, they were up front. They went down pit road. They're going to flip the stage this time. So Brandon Bikey goes to the back, giving up those stage points. He's got wins. He's going to go for the dub. He doesn't need too many stage points. He's going to go to the back, try to get that track position, get up front. At the end of this stage, as we are back green. Alex Coffey with the lead, but Sean Rogers on the hunt as he's going to try to make a move and try to win stage number 2 and go for the sweep.
Very good possibility right now. Sean Rogers, one of those drivers that I was talking about, everybody needed to keep their eye on. And then number 81 riding on board with him right now, trying to see if he can figure out a way to try to get around Coffey. Coppola's actually got around Davis, Chris Davis that is. And now Coppola's sitting up there in 3rd, Davis in 4th, Matthews back in 5th. Here comes Randy Mullins back here, sitting in 6th. He's going to dive it down to the inside. He's got to get around Matthews. But watch Rogers. He takes a shot. He thought about it, trying to go into turn 1. But Mullins, as you see on your screen, trying to get around Matthews. Here comes Cox. Here comes Carmichael off of turn 2.
Yeah, they are 2 by 2 by 2 trying to get those stage points. And right up front, it is trying to get a stage win as Sean Rogers, he can down to the inside. Alex Coffey has shown a little bit of weakness tonight in the setup, maybe just missed it a little bit. He's been able to kind of make up for it with his right foot, but here comes Sean Rogers trying to make that bottom work. He's done it already. Can he do it again? He's going to lead on each other going through turns 2.
Little bit of door.
Oh, and he gets loose.
He gets on the gas too much. He ends up getting loose. Caution is out. Rogers is going to get away with the lead.
We got more wrecking going on back here.
More wrecking. Wow.
Holy cow. There have been some amazing saves here tonight, and I mean, we got to go back and look at that again, and I want to see it from the inside of Alex Coffey's car. He just laid the loud pedal down. And she ate there, Jake. Let's go on board with him and watch this.
Yeah, he had one of the crazier saves, and another one that I saw. Maybe we can check it out here in a second. But watch Coffey right here coming off of turn 2. You're going to see him. He steps on the loud pedal a little bit too much there. He goes around, gets into the right side door of Rogers. Hell of a save right there by Coffey. But the one
I think Rogers actually helped him.
Yeah. I mean, Rogers helped him out right there, and Coffey was able to keep it straight. But another one that I saw going into turn 1 was Matt Cox. Matt Cox damn near cleaned out the whole field going into turn 1. As you see the whole deal right there with Coffey. Just watch Cox when they're going into turn 1, Eddie. It was the craziest save that I had seen, because he straight up sent it going in there, and he was able to try to make it stick. You'll see him right here coming off of the front stretch. Watch this right here. I don't know if he ended up getting in the wrong shift or what. But
he got a little help.
Actually, yes, he got some help from Matthews. I didn't see that.
Little beef.
It's still a hell of a save by Cox.
Yeah, I think Aaron Matthews was not too happy with him about that block. As we're going forward with Aaron Matthews here. Watch this. Aaron just trying to make it to the end of this deckum stage with these older tires. And he's got guys all behind him. But, man, watch this move as Cox is going to slide up in front of him. I don't think Aaron was too happy about it.
Yeah, I mean, he basically, he just chopped his nose right there. And Matthews just said, screw this. Bam, slammed straight into him. And, I mean, none of that right there was the caution. All of that crazy stuff happened. And Paul Whitley in the 74 was the one that spun out. There you see that chaos. Nicholas Atwood, once again, gets involved in another accident here tonight. There you see Christensen. He gets into Whitley, sends him around. Here comes Warren Young. He gets in there, slides around. Barry Sanders. Shane Davis in the 79. Atwood gets involved. Holy hell, there's been a lot of guys they got involved in a lot of stuff so far here tonight.
Yeah, you know what I'm seeing a lot of is I'm seeing a lot of folks with their brakes, the brake bias. They've got so much brake bias into this thing, trying to help the thing turn on entry and just I think it's brake bias forward, and it's just sending the rear around, trying to help the thing turn, get the car pointed. You can mess with the master cylinders, tried some different combinations to help the car turn. And what I'm seeing is whenever the wrecks happen in front of these guys, they're racing on just the bleeding edge, especially on entry to these corners. And if you have to press that brake anymore, it's going to go around. We saw Barry Sanders there in that wreck do the same thing. He got on the brakes a little bit too hard and went around. So you have to be careful when you use that brake bias to try to help the car rotate through the middle of the corner. It can bite you in some of these moments, and I think we've seen a lot of that here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of what I've actually seen here tonight, honestly, Eddie, also with that, as well as other guys not being able to stop for the wrecks, and whether or not they're actually trying to stop or whether they're just trying to see a hole and it not being there. Folks, we call that ARCA braking. Now, I'm not saying that that's what they're doing, Eddie, but there is a possibility that may be what they're trying to do. They're trying to drive through it and trying to miss the wreck, whereas opposed to they just drive straight in there and then run right into guys that they may think that they can try to get through that hole and they just can't. So I've seen a lot of that here tonight, obviously, like what you were talking about, guys trying to get on the throttle. You know, I've talked about it numerous times, like a virtual egg under your pedal, I guess. You know, have an egg up under your pedal, try to make sure that you don't crack it, and just have that throttle management. So it's been a crazy night so far, and Eddie, we ain't even halfway yet.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be stage number 2. Is we'll see if they go back green here. You know, we don't have a race control feeding us information. That was a really awkward time for that particular. So I don't have any information about that. So I don't know if somebody can let us know, if you're in chat, to let us know if that stage, we don't get any indication. But looks like we're getting ready to go back green here. And normally stage would end right about now, as I think they would go back around in the top 10. So I don't know how they're going to score this, but I would imagine that Shawn Rogers is going to be your stage 2 winner, and we'll try to get confirmation of that as soon as we can.
I'd say they probably did, because Coffee was right in there not too far behind Rogers. Now Coffee's sitting back there in the 17th spot. Rogers elected to stay out, so I'd say they probably threw the caution, Eddie. And when they threw caution, that they probably went ahead and declared that stage. So I'd say Shawn Rogers got the stage 2 win. If he didn't end up getting the stage 2 win, well, when he hits the line right here, he's going to end up getting it anyway. So Shawn Rogers, your stage 2 winner. At least that's the way I look at it, Eddie. Is here we go. Back green. Rogers up here with Caden Norfrey. Norfrey tries to get on the jump. Cox comes down, and they're going to door bang going into turn 1.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, if that was not stage, or if it was stage, Shawn Rogers has been out on track for 43 laps on his tires, and so he is going to be in big trouble here. So I don't know. I'd love to get confirmation from somebody in the league if you're paying attention, or Jake, if you want to run down there and just ask him. I guess maybe it's probably a bad time to be asking questions, but I don't really know. I mean, that's kind of thrown a lot of things on its head. Right now, Shawn Rogers out front, but he has been on those set of tires for 44 laps. So, oh my goodness, as Caden Norfrey gets real loose off the corner. And the 77, Kenny Coppola.
Coppola goes around right in front of the field. Caution is out once again. Kenny Coppola getting loose, coming off of turn 2 there. You see Paul Whitley in the 74 also involved. Caution out once again, Eddie. And I tell you what, I'm going to slide down there to the bad boy T1 and see if I can figure out when that stage was.
All right, we'll watch this replay with Kenny Coppola. Watch and see what happened. You can see guys just, I think probably right there if we look, Kenny probably saw Caden Norfrey get a little bit loose there, and then maybe just kind of got a little bit nervous off the corner. We'll watch right here. I don't think so. I think if he just got loose there as with everybody else, and good Lord, who was that? Somebody flying through the track. I think it was a 74. Paul Whitley hard into the inside wall. My goodness. So that was just a cluster. You know what? We'll go on board here with Paul Whitley and watch this as he is going to hit the inside wall really hard. I mean, I hope he had his mouthpiece in because he's going to need it right here.
Yeah, I mean, he just tried to see if he could dare. Oh, Carmichael got him in the left rear. Ended up tagging him right there. Whitley tried to see if he could miss I believe it was Kitty Coppola going up into the wall. So he tried to dart down to the left side, and unfortunately, there was Carmichael ended up tagging him in the left rear, and then Whitley went for a hell of a ride. And just to confirm what I was talking about, Eddie, they ended up declaring stage at that last caution. So, yes, Sean Rogers was your stage 2 winner.
Well, let's bring him up here because I want to talk to him about this strategy that we got going on right here. And so we got Sean Rogers back up into the booth. Sean, you've been on track for 46 laps on this set of tires. A little bit awkward about when the stage was going to be. Talk about that decision to stay out on 46 lap old tires.
It wasn't a decision. Like you mentioned, there was a lot of confusion amongst everybody here in our team chat, and I think a lot of the other drivers, and I must have missed the memo. So it wasn't a strategy call, but now I have to, this is kind of the bet I'm in, and I don't quite know what the plan is yet, still working on that, but here we are.
All right, well, I tell you what, we're not going to keep you too long since you're still working on that strategy. We'll send you back to your chat. Congratulations on stage 2, and good luck the rest of the race.
Appreciate it, guys.
Well, there you have it, Jake. I mean, awkward situation. I think we were up in the booth a little confused about when the stage was going to be, and it sounds like the guy's on track. Same deal.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of throws everybody for a loop, I guess, a little bit when guys are not in the loop. No pun intended on that. But, I mean, Rogers, I think he may be in a little bit, I still think he may be okay out of this right here. You get a couple of cautions right here. It could get a little bit closer to, that right point to where he may end up going down into the pits, and he may end up dragging everybody with him. So, this has kind of turned into what I thought it may end up being, which is somewhat of a caution-filled race right here, close to the end right here, Eddie, because, that's the trend that we're seeing. We saw a long green flag run in stage 1, and then after that, it's just been chaos ever since, with guys just trying to be able to try to get the grip and try to be able to manage where they're at, and maybe, end up having a little beef, got a little contact out there, whatnot. So Rogers may not be in as bad of a space or bad of a spot as he thinks he is right now, because Coffey's up to 13th right now. I think he only gained 2 spots out of all that. So track position, I still think it's got a lot to do with here tonight. In my opinion, I take track position over the tires, but that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, that car is bad fast, but, Brandon Bikey has been bad fast all night long, and he's only got 9 laps, most of them caution laps on his tires. So I think Bikey is in probably the best position as far as what I've seen out of car speed, and we'll see what Matt Cox here is. He's been able to get sort of even here. He's been all over the place. We'll see if that car's got a little bit extra, but this should be pretty exciting here as we get down to halfway. Green flag into the Geico restart zone. Sean Rogers gets on the loud pedal on the outside line, gets it going, and we'll see what he can do here once they get these tires up to temp.
And he straight up sends it, and it's going to be between Cox and Bikey. They're going to try to battle it out for the second spot. Bikey's going to get the run on the outside. Cox is going to slide back to third, maybe not. Here comes Cox. Looks down to the inside, right behind him, 3 wide, Wartman Jr., Caden Norfrey back here with Chris Davis. Hell, they all just sent it going into turn 3, and all of them almost sent it up into the wall. Davis got the worst of all of it and played bumper cars with the wall right there. So Davis slides back from 5th all the way back to 8th. May end up having some beef right there with those guys as well. But wow, they went in there 3 wide, and none of them tried to lift right there. They were just basically going for it.
Yeah, Caden Norfrey got knocked all the way up to the wall and then cut it back down, but he is struggling here. He's not able to get the power down. He's 27 laps on these tires, and so he is trying to just maintain at the moment, but he is not having a good time. I'll tell you what, you nailed it right now. At least as we wait for these guys' tires to get up to temp, Sean Rogers last time by was a 10th and a half faster than anybody else on the track. Jake, what the heck is going on?
He's got the setup, man. He knows exactly how to get it around here. Granted, it's like I said a while ago. Maybe that kind of threw everybody for a loop, not knowing when stage was and everything else, and when that stage 2 was going to end. But at the same time, I think it was a blessing right there for Rogers. Like I said, you want to be able to get that track position. obviously, you want to be able to try to be ahead of everybody. And another thing, too, he doesn't have any dirty air on that car, Eddie. I mean, we know about these cars being very aero-dependent on these next-gen cars. Even on this short track, you can get somebody's dirty air, you can get tight as hell in these cars, but he ain't got nobody in front of him. He is straight up moving right now, back-to-back laps, running a 30.3. That time he ran a 30.4. Brandon Bakke back there in the second spot, he ran a 30.5. So they're turning up the heat, even in the fog right now in New Hampshire.
Yeah, watching this battle back here between Tim Orphan Jr. and Jordan Schmeets. Tim got a really great run off that corner, just not able to keep the power down. He is rolling really good through the center of the corner. Man, I tell you what, Jordan all the way at the top, right at the wall. Ortman gonna clear him. It looks like I couldn't tell if Jordan wanted to maybe keep him from moving up, but it's basically saying, hey, bud, just go and take that spot. So Tim Ortman talked about that winless streak, and look at him up here inside the top 5, moving forward. He's running pretty quick lap times, maybe not as fast as Sean Rogers, but that 83 is in prime position his caution is back out. Looks like Chris Spear has gone around. Brandon Fetterplace around as well as the bumper falls off of it.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I was just fixing to say, I mean, you know, what better motivation than just to keep that winless streak, keep talking about it, and eventually it's going to piss him off enough to where he ends up getting a win. But there you see right there, obviously, with Christensen, Spear right here as well. There's Fetterplace. Wow, Warren Young gets a little bit loose going through 1 and 2. He ends up coming down into the door, a Spear, and sends him straight into Fetterplace. King tries to get around. And there you see Fetterplace basically parked right in the track, and then a couple other drivers try to slide around. They try to miss as well, but you're going to see Young right there, bam, just comes down. Door bangs with Spear, and Spear comes down, gets into Fetterplace, and then Spear just tries to lock it down. Fetterplace tried to lock it down as well, so, I mean, I'd have to put that one on Warren Young right there. Just, I mean, I guess you could say just awareness of what was going on right there.
I think it just got a little bit loose there, and it just kind of all compounded from there as you watch Warren Young here. You see him it's trying to get the power down, just can't freaking do it. And it comes off the corner. Yeah, you're right. I don't know. I thought maybe he just got loose, but kind of looks like he just comes on down, doesn't he, Jake?
Well, yeah, but I mean, Spear had him up there real tight, but I mean, Spear had to have him up there tight because he had Fetterplace on his inside. I mean, I'm sure, you know, all three of them had to hear 3 wide, you know, and depending on where the hell you're at, 3 wide in the middle, 3 wide, 2 down low, or whatever. But he just comes straight down. Check out Shane Davis, able to sneak right through it just a little bit, follow Warren Young right through it. But I mean, that's what it looked like to me. I just thought it was just bad awareness, I guess you could say, by Young, just not knowing that, you know, he was there. I mean, that's one thing about the virtual spotters. And Eddie, this may be one of my beefs on my podcast, The Door Banging Download on Spotify this week, is virtual spotters, because they never tell you how tight the car that you're racing up against, if they're or to your inside or your outside, they never say how damn close they are. You just basically just got to go with it. You don't know. Some of us don't have VR or have a big old TV or whatever to be able to look to our left and see what's going on. So that may be my beef this week, Eddie. Thank you very much for that. I found my beef for this week.
Yeah, you know, and a lot of the guys will, you know, like in NASCAR, they'll have actual live spotters. They'll turn that in-game spotter off, because I think you're right. I think that it is really helpful to be able to have, when you're racing like these guys race, where it's all about inches. You know, you go in some just for fun leagues where everybody's just there to have a good time, maybe a family or close friends type deal. Everybody's giving each other plenty of room. That spotter is pretty accurate. When you're racing as hard as these guys, I think you're absolutely right. It's being able to have you know, a live spotter to tell you, oh, he's closing on you quick, or he's right there on your door, or he's off, you know, he's 2 cars back, he's a car length back, half a car length. I mean, all that stuff's really good information, and if they don't have that, they're not getting it. So I think you're right. I mean, it's really hard to tell how close someone is, and right there, I think Warren had already made a mistake. You I think you just got to keep it up at the wall and not come back down because regardless of where the spotter was, somebody was definitely down there, and that was a tough one. So getting ready to go back green here.
But Eddie, I was going to say real quick, I mean, you were talking about family leagues and everything else, trying to race clean and everything. Yeah, that's one thing. I mean, obviously, family leagues, you want to try to keep it clean. But I'll say this, if you end up having like an in-laws league, hell no, you try to wreck them all day long. You try to wreck your in-laws to try to win a race on iRacing. At least I would, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I hear you. It's a good way to let off some steam, maybe. Well, son, trying to peek through the fog here as we are back racing Sean Rogers. I mean, he's restarting like his life depends on it with those 60-lap old tires. But I tell you, been impressive watching him maintain here as, man, Matt Cox did not get through that corner really well. Now Tim Wortman Jr. and Schmeat side by side yet again, and Wortman is going to take that 4th spot right back.
Smeets is going to fall right in line, right behind him. Here comes Chris Davis. Here comes Jeffrey Taylor back here. Alex Coffey stuck in the middle of the hornet's nest back here with Randy Mullins. They're all trying to find a line. They're trying to find a hole. Here comes Shane Parrish in the 66, going to dive down to the inside of Alex Coffey. He's going to try to follow Taylor. Right in front of him, Smeets is hung up on the outside. He's going to let Davis go by, but he's going to cut Taylor off. So kick Taylor in the 7th spot. Davis is going to go to 5th. Smeets will go back to 6th. Crazy how there's so much movement going on with these guys here in this race. As you see Coffey right there, just trying to get through this traffic right now, even on those fresh tires that he got right there at the end of stage number 2. He just hasn't really been able to get anything to work, honestly. I mean, Eddie, he keeps getting caught up in all that traffic, and he's just got no way to try to get around it.
And he might have gotten some damage at some point. He came down pit road the last time he came down at 21. Took about 37 seconds on pit road. So 15 might have a little bit of damage. So we should see if that plays out towards the end of this thing. Right now, the 66 is the one that's moving up here in the top 10. He has been able to get around Coffey and then easily gets around Jeffrey Taylor. So that 66 machine who was up front early in the race is starting to work his way back up through the field. And I still got my eyeball here on this 79 machine. I don't want to jinx him again. He went all the way to the back. Now he's back up into 12th. So I got my eyes on the 79. If he can get the right cautions, he can make the right moves. He's going down to the inside of the 3 of Hunter Carmichael. Shane Davis has got a fast car. He just hasn't had the luck that he needs to get up there. So we'll see if he can get back up there right now, trying to take over the 11th position.
Absolutely, and if Davis ends up getting caught up in a caution, he can come up here in the broadcast booth and cuss you out for it, Eddie. But he's looking pretty good right now. Down on the inside, trying to get around Hunter Carmichael. That's the battle for the 11th spot. A little battling going on right up here in front of him with Shane Parrish and Jordan Smeets up here. Parrish is able to dive it down on the inside and jump it around Smeets. So Smeets is going to get kicked back. Yeah, Parrish is straight up moving through the field, and his next victim, I guess you could say, is 29 of Chris Davis. And he's going to pounce on him right now, son. He ain't going to give him a lap. He ain't even going to give him a lap to breathe. Parrish to the inside, Davis up top. Parrish is straight up moving through the field here tonight at New Hampshire.
Yeah, we have both zeroed in on this 66 car. He ain't playing around at the moment. We get under halfway, and he is coming alive up front. It is getting tight. We're going to stay here on Shane Parrish. He's trying to complete this pass on Chris Davis, who, Chris made a fantastic move to take those, do that flip in that first stage, and he has been up inside the top 10 ever since. A little bit, struggling just a little bit right here, but he's holding tight here in 6th. But that 66 is grooving and moving right now as that thing is pretty dang fast. Go back up here, and it's getting tight for 2nd. Half a second between Brandon Bikey and Sean Rogers. So, I don't know what to say, Jake. I did not think that he was in a good spot. And I don't think when we talked to him, he felt good at all about his situation. But, right now, I don't know if he's baffled himself or he might be in a flow state. I don't know. But he is, still doing a great job. That time by a little bit slower than Brandon Bikey, but still doing an amazing job. Like half they've got half the tires that he's got, or he does. What am I saying?
Well,
hey, Jake, say something. I'm struggling here.
Well, I mean, honestly, I'll basically put it to you like this. I think he knows exactly what the hell he's doing. I think he just faked everybody out. I think he might have faked the whole damn field out. I think he might have faked us out. I think he might have faked out the 30 people that's watching live right now on YouTube right here on V-Speed. I think he faked everybody out because, I mean, you ask a driver, honestly, Eddie, I mean, you know this. You're a driver just like I am. You ask a driver their game plan of what the situation that they're in, they're not going to tell you the whole truth. They don't want the damn competition to know what's going on. So I think Sean Rogers kind of played right into this 100% perfect. Now, do I think that he knew about when the stage caution was and all that good stuff? Did I think that he knew about that? Probably not, because, hell, it threw us off. But still, I think Rogers has got this well in hand right now here at New Hampshire. Because, I mean, he had the opportunity to go down and pit and take tires over the past couple of cautions. He just elected not to do it. So it's like you said, he's got more tires than damn near everybody in the field. But when you're moving this fast up here and literally pulling away from the rest of the field, what the hell do you need them for anyway?
Yeah, I mean, just impressive stuff. Way to make do out of maybe a bad situation, but just tires maybe not being that important once you get up here towards the front. And I mean, we've seen it, guys staying out, being able to maintain their position. It's just seems like he is just so much faster than everybody that it doesn't matter. So I think Harry Hyde might have put a little match set of tires on about 70 laps ago, because those things, that must be the best set of good years he's ever driven on, because, man, they are still got the grip that he needs. Still a tenth faster than second place Brandon Bikey. So just impressive stuff.
I'm telling you right now, Bikey may end up looking like he may be struggling a little bit, because Matt Cox is really starting to put some pressure right now on Brandon Bikey up here sitting in that second spot. Obviously, here comes Cox. Gonna send it, almost gets to the back bumper, almost gets to the left rear tail light of Brandon Bikey, almost ended up getting into him, maybe even sending him around. Cox getting very, very aggressive. We've already seen how aggressive he can be here tonight, obviously with that little chop block on Aaron Matthews, and then Matthews tried to send him in the corner. I would not be surprised to see Cox make some crazy moves up here at the front of the field. He's already did it once, as I mentioned, back there with the 5 of Aaron Matthews, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him do it again as he just continues to send it going into the corners. He gets ever so close to just tagging Brandon Bikey in the back bumper, but he just doesn't get close enough. I think he may be playing some mind games with him, maybe trying to get Bikey to overdrive the damn corner. That way Cox can just drive right by him on the inside. I mean, what do you think, Eddie?
I think that's fill that mirror up with the front bumper. It makes you have to look up there and think about it, especially if you see one coming pretty quick on entry of the corner. You might miss your entry, maybe miss your middle. I mean, it's definitely a strategy you can make. I've seen Cox, though, tonight. I mean, he has not been afraid to use that right side of that car. That Ford Dark Horse, he has used up quite a few people trying to make these passes. And, it's just an easy way of doing it. You go down to the corner and you can take 3 or 4 laps to do it, or you can do like Denny Hamlin did and go down the corner and just push a guy out of the groove and go ahead and take the spot. So Matt has been aggressive, and it's being rewarded right now as he's in the 3rd position, running the exact same lap time as the leader last time by. So he definitely has the speed. It just right now, all 3 of these drivers are running similar in lap times. And so he's going to have to be physical, I think, especially as we get down to the end of this race. He gets up to Bikey. I don't think would be surprised at all to see him use that bumper.
Absolutely, and I mean, with aggression comes to tagging people in the bumper and also tagging people in the bumper. What does it come with? It comes with beef, and we see some beef out there in the live chat right now. Kyle Holden talking about he's going to file a protest on the guys doing his AC. As you see Shane Davis slide around a little bit right there in 3 and 4. But going back to Kyle Holden, talking about filing a protest on the guys doing his AC for making him miss this race. Hate it for you, Kyle. Obviously, I'd have beef with him as well. Let us know how that protest goes, buddy, as we got a battle up here for the 6th spot right there. You see Taylor. You see Chris Davis. You see Alex Coffey. Coffey got to just send it around Chris Davis. So kick Coffey up to 7th. Kick Davis back to 8th. Coffee on a completely different strategy, Eddie, than some of these other guys that's up here at the front, like Rogers, like Bikey, like Cox, all these other guys. He's on a different strategy. And right now, I hate to say it for you Coffee fans out there, but it ain't looking too good for him because those fresh tires is not really doing a whole lot compared to these guys up here at the front.
Yeah, everybody from second on back running very similar lap times. So that when you're running similar lap times, that means it's hard to pass and it's hard to make up any ground. So I don't see anybody that's making huge waves. I think 66 up here, Shane Parrish is one of the drivers who is just a little bit faster than those in front of him, but still he's about 1.2 seconds back, and he's going to have a long way to go before he gets up to him. But man, there's some really good racing going on all throughout the track. Got to keep tabs on our points leader, Randy Mullins. Caution's out. Like Ed Bowles Jr. in the 38 has gone around and caution back out here on lap 127. And we'll take a look at the replay and see what happened.
Looks like it may have been a self-spin right here, Eddie. Think he might have basically straddled that first seam that you see down there on the bottom. That's that seam I was talking about earlier, Eddie, where these guys may try to get down, try to help that car turn just a little bit. Looks like he straddled it a little bit too much right there. Back end comes around right there. Thankfully, nobody ends up hitting Ed, and thankfully Ed does not hit the wall. So caution is out right here, but this is going to throw kind of a monkey wrench. Yeah, this is going to be a monkey wrench right here. As you see, Rogers going to go down pit road. Bikey's going down. Cox, Parrish, Wortman Jr., the whole top five. The whole damn field going down pit road, with the exception of, I believe, Chris Davis is going to stay out on the racetrack. But the majority of the field coming down pit road right here.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I think for the field, Sean Rogers coming down to get these set of tires, I mean, that was such a benefit for him after being on track 80 laps and still laying down some of the fastest lap times. The field needed that handicap, and now they just lost it. So, man, interesting calls here. We've got, looks like the 79 of Shane Davis. Been talking about him. He takes 2 tires on that stop, Jake. So all kinds of strategy going on here with just 70 laps to go. Sean Rogers, though, I don't know if it matters what strategy you do. We saw right there. I mean, he was at the biggest disadvantage anybody's been in all race long, and he was pulling away from the field. So if you don't have Sean Rogers to win this race, you might be losing some money today. But Chris Davis, Randy Mullins going to stay out here with 40-lap old tires, maybe taking a little play out of the playbook of Sean Rogers.
Yeah, I mean, they may be able to try to pull that off, but, I mean, it's going to get interesting right here, as you see. Not really sure what was that all about right there. Sean Rogers, Chris Davis, maybe teammates right there, giving a little bumper tag to one another. And there you see Randy Mullins. Shout out to all the live chat guys out there for Randy Mullins. I'm sure, it's like I said a couple of weeks ago when they ran it in Infineon or Sonoma or whatever the hell they end up calling it now.
Sears Point.
Yeah, Sears Point. Yeah, let's go with that. I mean, obviously, that road course all the way out there in California, but, I mean, he went out there, straight up dominated that race, led every single lap. And when I mean every single lap, Eddie, I mean every damn lap. I mean, there was no caution. Nobody else was able to get the lead. He led from flag to flag, literally, and won that race. Randy Mullins, as you talked about, your point leader coming into tonight. So he's got the right to, I guess you could say, throw kind of a monkey wrench, I guess you could say, in this. And how about your pick up there? Shane Davis worked his way back up here and got himself in the medal list, obviously on 2 tires. But, I mean, hell, we've had guys stay out on 80-lap old tires. We've had guys try to take 4 tires. We've seen guys try to take 2 tires. I mean, the strategy's all screwed up at this point, Eddie. We're just along for the ride, and just to watch the chaos right here with coming this time around 70 laps to go. This is going to get good.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, it is very interesting. If you don't have some storylines, I mean, we can go over it again, but there is a lot to talk about here. But they're getting ready to go green here with it's going to be right at 70, about 69 nice laps to go in this race up front. These 2 drivers have been really fast all race long, 42 laps on tires. Shane Davis has come all the way from 28th, I believe, in that 79 machine, takes 2 tires, going to jump up here. And then the man that has dominated this race from start to finish, it seems like, 81 of Sean Rogers in 4th. And it's all over the place here. We'll see what these guys can do on these old tires. We'll see who's going to be willing to get aggressive here as Chris Davis, Randy Mullins gets into the Geico restart zone. Chris Davis gets a great jump. Randy Mullins not able to get the power down to the 79 of Shane Davis. Oh, might clear Randy Mullins, and he does for second.
He jumped right down on the bottom side, and he was able to get the clear on Randy Mullins. So Mullins will go back to 3rd. Davis goes to 2nd. Rogers trying to find a way, obviously on 4 freshies. And folks, that is not, like you said, Eddie, that's not what the field wanted. Bikey and Cox door bang right behind them for the 5th spot. They're trying to keep it straight. They're trying to keep it clean. Rogers trying to get maybe try to get in front of Mullins and try to put the block on him. Not able to do it. Right behind them, Cox sends it in very hard to try to get to the inside of Mullins. Yes, Eddie, the dip is in the jaw, baby. We're ready to rock and roll at New Hampshire as Mullins gets loose.
Points leader almost ate it off the corners. He's going to lose a couple spots. Those tires, I mean, just probably being real nervous, but we got a battle for the lead. Golly, I can't talk about one thing for a second without there being more action on the track. That's what you can expect here in the Moonshiners Racing League. Some of the best racing I've ever seen on track. And here we go, Shane Davis, knowing what's behind him. He knows he's got to get out front. He's inside of Chris Davis as they go side by side down the back straightaway. And look, Sean Rogers there waiting in the wing as Shane Davis in those 2 tires going to do a little slide job right in front of the 29. They make contact, and here comes the 79 of the 81 of Sean Rogers.
Holy hell, Davis almost ends up going around off the front bumper of Chris Davis. Both the Davises making a little contact at Sean Rogers. Basically, the floodgates opened up. Sean Rogers in the 81 goes from 3rd all the way to 1st. Davis is going to slide back. Cox is going to go around him. Bakey's going to try to get a run. Thinks different of it. Cox goes way up the racetrack, slams it up into the wall, pulling some Ross Chastain stuff. That's Ross Chastain line right there, baby, but still a long way to go.
That's the most diamond line I've ever seen in my life. He went straight into the wall, bounced off of it, came back down. I like it.
Hell of a move right there by Cox, but I mean, you got to be careful when you do that, Cox. Man, if you drive it in there too damn hard, you're going to knock the toe link out of the car. Here comes Davis, caution out once again.
Oh, man, we got a big one. This looks like I saw Warren Young sliding across the track. Barry Sanders sideways. See the 10 there as caution back out on the speedway. These guys, I mean, this is why they're so aggressive on restarts. You don't have green flag racing really here tonight. You got to get all you can get. We'll take a look at the replay real quick.
Maybe a little bit of beef right here, Eddie, between Warren Young and Caden Norfrey. You see Norfrey right there in the 20 down on the bottom side. And Norfrey able to gas up maybe a little bit harder, I guess you could say, than Young, and just tags him in the back end. You see Ed Boyles Jr. gets involved. There goes Barry Sanders. Spear gets involved as well as Warren Young gasses it up, drives it back down into the grass, basically back right back into it. But that's just a typical case of patience running out. Guys gassing it up and trying to maybe try to make something happen when I guess you could say, Eddie, honestly, nothing's there. But you see Caden right here, just able to get a better run coming off of 2, and literally just drives right into the back of Warren Young and sends him straight around. He's got Aaron Matthews up there in front of him. Warren Young trying to stay off him. And, wow, Norfrey just drives it right into the back end and goes right by. There goes Spear. You see him. He goes all the way down into the grass. Young goes around. Boyles Jr., Sanders. A lot of guys back there. A little bit of door banging as well right there, trying to figure out a way to try to get around him. There's Johnny Shade back there in the 13 as well. So a lot of crazy stuff's been going on right here in this race. And I got a feeling it's only going to get crazier.
Yeah, we keep clicking off laps under caution, and we'll take a look at the race recap. 13 cautions here tonight. 2 of those have been the stage caution, but been pretty messy. But I think we kind of felt that was going to happen. And there are tracks that just lend itself to this, unfortunately, caution-filled races. And when you've got guys that are so close in speed, there's so many drivers. I mean, tonight we have 33 drivers, which is actually a small field for this series, which is wild to think about. But 33 drivers, and it's so, excuse me, it's so tough to pass that guys are having to try just about anything. Frustration level picks up. You know, when you're driving down the dang highway and somebody won't get out of the passing lane, you're kind of stuck behind, you know, it's easy to get mad then. Imagine running door to door, not being able to make a pass on somebody you feel like you're faster than. And frustration starts to pick up, contacts made, there's retaliation. I mean, it just continues on and on when you're racing these, you know, close quarters like this. You're just not able to get away. So yeah, not surprising, but hopefully we can get some green flag runs, get one to the finish. I think it's going to be a pretty sweet battle from these top 5 as Alex Coffey is back in the top 5 here as we get ready to go green.
Yeah, man, Eddie, you kind of threw me off right there a little bit because you was talking about people in front of you that are holding you up when you're a little bit faster, and then you went all the way to contact and frustrations and aggression. I mean, I don't know if I want to ride with you on the highway from the way you were talking right there, Eddie. Kind of threw me off there for just a second, but kind of throwing a funny pun in there, Eddie. But obviously, I mean, frustration is going to set in, aggression is going to set in. You look at some of these guys that's back here. We talked about Jeffrey Taylor sitting back there in the 7th spot, wanting to try to get a win, wanting to try to, I guess you could say, maximize his day the best that he can. You see everybody double filing up, getting ready for a restart right here. Taylor obviously getting a win would lock him into the playoffs. He's one of those first 4 drivers out. So he would be one of those guys that I would be watching for right here. But I'm telling you, what better way to do this right here? I mean, your guy that you've been watching the whole time, Shane Davis up here on the inside, started 28th. And he's right there on the inside lane. And Sean Rogers, the guy that I said to watch out for, stage 1, stage 2. Hell of a way to do it right here as we're coming around this time, 61 to go.
Geico restart zone from the 81 of Shane Davis, or Sean Rogers. It's going to get a push from Brandon Bikey as they go down into turn 1. And they are side by side. The 79 got a great restart, even though the 1 was pushing the 81. The 79 is still there. So, oh, we got contact in the back.
Big
Aaron
time
Matthews
contact.
going around.
Aaron Matthews in the 5 goes around. Caution is out, and I think Shane Davis was able to get the lead right here on Sean Rogers. Maybe not. He's going to back out of it. One thing I do want to mention right here, Eddie, is from what I saw on my end, as far as timing and scoring goes, it looked like Davis beat Rogers to the line. It wasn't by much. It was 0-0, but Shane Davis was, according to time and scoring, ahead of Sean Rogers at the line. It's going to be interesting to see how race control does on that. But there you see Aaron Matthews right here. Got Wortman Jr. and Schmeets right there. And, yeah, I mean, just
trying to be
spin right there. He
aggressive.
just lost it.
Yeah, trying to be aggressive there, trying to get into the inside of Wortman. You see he kind of leans on him here. Just not quite there just yet. Wortman's going to get the run off the corner, and then the 5 just going to get squeezed. He's just in a really tight spot there with Wortman on his right front and somebody on his left rear, and unfortunately goes around. So, yeah, kind of a bummer there for the 5. He is one of those drivers who's on the outside or right close at the cutoff. He's 15th in points, really needing to have a good day, and he's going to fall all the way back to 22nd after that spin. But yeah, I think what you'll see is I believe while the 79 was ahead of him, I believe iRacing does have those timing loops, and I think Sean Rogers was still ahead when the caution. It went back to that timing loop and it gave it to the 81. So really close though, Shane Davis. I mean, he had the restart of his life there with those 2 tires.
Absolutely, and there you see Brandon Fetterplace going around. He is the lucky dog, so he will get his lap back. He'll get back on the lead lap, and the next one, should a caution come out, it's going to be Nick King in the 24. He's the next driver 1 lap down. He doesn't really have a whole lot of competition right now to go up against because everybody behind him, the next one behind him, Jamison Middlemiss, I should say, 6 laps down behind Nick King right here. So, obviously, Nick King is praying for a caution right here, Eddie. That would be able to get him back on the lead lap. But there you see Rogers, Davis up here. Both of them actually fighting over who really needs to be at the front, I guess. But looks like Rogers will probably still get the beneficiary out of that. You got Cox, Bikey, Coffee up here. That's the top 5, pretty stacked top 5 right here. This is going to be a good restart right here.
Yeah, still a long way to go, though. Only 143 out of 200, and we are about an hour and 45 minutes into this race. So, you know, gonna have to have a little bit of patience here. I know it seems like time's running out, but you know, if it doesn't pick up soon, it's gonna be hard. I don't know. What am I saying? It's not gonna pick up because these guys are gonna continue to have cautions. It's gonna be even more desperate moves that are gonna be made trying to make up those positions, especially if you're towards the back and you want to get up to the front. So I don't know what I'm saying. I don't think it's gonna clean up that much, as we've seen guys just all over each other, especially from, you know, 10th on back. It's really been a mess. Up front, it's been really clean racing, so we'd love to see that kind of play out, but it just doesn't, the trend doesn't seem to be that way right now. Right now, your biggest mover of the race is Shane Davis, as we've already kind of highlighted a couple times. 28 second, and he did it the hard way. He didn't get up there with strategy. He went up there and has been passing cars all night. You can see him leading on Sean Rogers here. Shane having a good time. And your next biggest mover is Hunter Carmichael in that number 3. He has started in 20th, and he is running 8th. So some guys have been able to make some passes. John Bender back in 16th. He's up 14 spots. So some guys have been able to move, but a lot of the drivers up in the top 10 are basically running where they started. So interesting to see how that has all played out. This race has been pretty exciting with a lot of strategy, and we still got a long way to go. Sun's coming out, fog's starting to lift, and we're going to see if Shane Davis can have a restart like he did last time into the Geico restart zone, and he does. Man, he gets a great jump there. He's actually going to beat the 81 to the line, and we're side by side for the lead, and Shane Davis out front.
Yeah, they may want to look at that one right there. Shane may actually jump the restart right there, but Shane Davis at the time is clear, as we got a little bit of contact back here. Barry Sanders back here with Hunter Carmichael. 4 wide, almost going into turn number 3. They're going to make it 4 wide with Tim Wortman Jr. back here, but they're going to fan it back out to 2 wide. As Wortman Jr. trying to get around Davis. He's got Smeets right behind him, but Davis still leads. Rogers is trying to give chase, maybe not. Cox down to his inside. They door bang coming off of turn 2.
Yeah, Shane Davis gets out front. That's what he wants to see. If somebody is spinning down to the inside, that's Chris Davis. Chris Davis spins down to the inside wall, able to save it coming back up through the grass, but not great for somebody who is right there on the bubble line. He did not need that coming down to the end of this race. But, man, right now, Sean Rogers taking a little bit of time to get loose there in that second position. Now he's going to set his sights on Shane Davis, who has finally gotten up to the front and takes over the lead. Here comes Alex Coffey up to third. Shane Parrish joining this battle. This is getting tight here. Shane Parrish dives it down to the inside of Matt Cox.
And he's going to be able to try to make it stick. Bikey right behind him, trying to see if he can muster something up and try to carry on. From what we're hearing, the restart was clean, so Shane Davis is trying to check out, and Rogers is trying to give chase. Coffey trying to see if he can put the pressure on Rogers. Rogers gets a little bit loose. Coffey looks down to the inside, thinking about going for that second spot. Parrish and Cox the top 5, but Coffey putting a lot of pressure right now on Rogers, and Shane Davis is trying to scoot away.
It seems like we have Benjamin Button tires here, because it seems like the freshest tires are the worst and the worst tires are the best. I don't understand what's going on here, but, I mean, Shane Davis on 2 tires is out there up front laying down some heaters. Sean Rogers not quite able to, I mean, he's running similar lap times, but not what he was doing before. So, man, this has been a great race so far, and I think it's going to continue to give, but just crazy to see how the guys on new tires just kind of struggle to get this thing going. Oh, my goodness.
Boy, they are slipping and sliding all over the place back here, as you see right behind them. Parrish trying to look down to the inside of Coffey, trying to see if maybe he can get him to slip a little bit. Cox sitting in 5th. Bikey has slipped back to 6th. Jeffrey Taylor back here in a side-by-side battle with guess who? Kenny Coppola back up here after spinning out earlier on in the race. He has now tried to see if he can shoot around Taylor. He's going to on the outside, as there you see the driver cam. Coppola trying to get it done here tonight. Obviously did not have a good showing last week at Iowa. He wants to try to get a good showing here tonight at another short track like New Hampshire. Battle for second. Coffee going around to the outside. Actually, that's the battle for third. Is Parrish going to shoot down to the inside? Coffee is up top. Coffee's going to get the run. Parrish almost squeezed him straight to the fence.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many battles on the track. We need like 2 or 3 cameras to really get it all. These guys, man, what great racing is right. Look how close Shane Parrish gets to the left rear. I mean, I'm pretty sure they touch, just leaning on each other as the 15 under fire for this second position. Is they're going to door bang maybe just a little bit through 1 and 2, but Coffee going to keep that momentum up on the outside and try to hold off this 66 who seems to be moving forward just like these other. I mean, it's going to be Shane, Sean, and Shane up front if he can get around Alex. So.
Well, I mean, he's trying to, I guess you could say, not necessarily use up Coffee. I mean, he's just basically just racing him, and he's just sliding up into his door just a little bit. Obviously, Parrish is way faster right now than Alex Coffee. So Parrish really trying to, I guess you could say, do it as clean as he can. But, I mean, a little bit of door banging here at New Hampshire is not the end of the world. That's clean racing. I've seen a lot crazier moves in recent memory here at New Hampshire that could not be classified as clean racing, but Parrish trying to be as clean as he possibly can. And right now, Davis and Rogers, both of them starting to check out from the field, literally have got it up to about a second and a half over Coffee. Parrish trying to figure out how to get around Coffee. Coffee may be holding him up a little bit, but I think this is going to be the Shane and Sean show up here, as you see Parrish still trying to work his way around Alex Coffee.
Yeah, Alex Coffey trying to keep tabs of these guys, and Shane Parrish just won't let him breathe for 1 second as he's now back on the attack and looking down to the inside. Gonna give up. Oh, I thought he might have been trying to give him a little shove there. Might have just completely missed it, or maybe trying to get to his outside quarter panel. But, I mean, you can see Alex, unfortunately, and he gets a little bit loose, so now Shane Parrish going to have a nice run into turn 3. We'll see if he can complete that pass. But, I mean, it definitely seems like Alex may have missed the setup this week. He's not. Oh, man, look at him banging doors off the corner. But he has not had the speed that we're used to out of that 15 machine. He is a little behind the 8 ball, but he is doing such a good job of fighting hard, trying to maintain that position, and has been able to stay inside the top 5 for sure all night long, mostly the top 3. So it's going to be hard for Shane Parrish to get around Coffee here, as he has been really strong on that outside.
Well, it looks like he may end up getting it done right here. Parrish is going to get clear of Coffee. So kick Parrish up to 3rd, kick Coffee back to 4th. You see Bikey back there with Cox, Coppola, and Taylor back there, not too far back from that battle that was for 3rd. But Parrish is able to get clear of Coffee, and he's going to try to set his sights on maybe trying to catch up to Rogers and Davis, as here we go. Rogers looking down to the inside of Shane Davis. This is for the battle for the lead. Rogers getting right up on that back bumper, trying to see if he can maybe fluster, I guess you could say, Shane Davis. He's going to take a look down to the inside, thinks different of it. He'll fall back in line. But the battle is heating up big time up here at the lead, coming around. This time, it's going to be around 32 laps to go, give or take right now. Coming around to 30 to go, give or take here in a little bit. Rogers starting to put that pressure right now on Shane Davis.
Yeah, right now, the 66 of Shane Parrish might be Shane Davis's best friend. And you can see sort of a masterclass of just blocking from Shane Davis. And I don't mean like a physical block. I just mean running in a lane that makes it difficult for Sean Rogers to get around him. Just can't find a lane. Sean has been trying to get up to the outside, trying to get on the inside, but Shane doing a great job of driving defensively. But he would love if Shane Parrish would get up here and start the battle. And here he goes, the 81 down to the inside. Can he make the pass? That's going to be the tricky part. Shane has been fast all night long, but that 81 has been obviously the strongest car that we have seen. Can he make this pass? He's going to need to do it really quickly here. As you can see, the 66 starting to, I mean, the 66 was almost 0.3 faster that last lap as these guys battle side by side.
Yeah, looks like Rogers is going to get a little run off of 2. Parrish tries to come down, maybe pull him back just a little bit. Side by side, door to door, going into 3. Rogers on the bottom. Davis gets loose up top. Rogers almost slides up into his door. Parrish is closing in fast as Rogers is going to get clear. So Sean Rogers goes back to the lead. Shane Davis kicked back to second, and Parrish has slid right into the tire tracks of Davis and shot up here in that 3rd spot. It may be looking at possibly second. Hell, he may end up thinking a win, but he's going to have to go around Shane Davis. And now your new leader, Sean Rogers.
Yeah, it was a good move by Sean. Super clean way to race with a car with bodies, which is kind of lean on the guy in the middle of the corner, not allow the 79 to turn back down as early as he wanted to. And that gave the 81 to drive off, and now everybody's in trouble. We still got a long way to go in this race, but starting to click off a nice little green flag run here, Jake. So we're happy to see some green flag racing. We'll see if anybody's made any changes. Has been helpful, but right now, I don't see anybody in the same wheelhouse as Sean Rogers, especially on the long run. So I'll be interested to see as we get to the end of this race how it all plays out, because right now Shane Davis is going to fall into the clutches of Shane Parrish, and yeah, I'm getting confused on the names here. My brain is starting to short circuit.
Yeah, a little bit right here for me as well, but Davis up here with Parrish. Rogers trying to see if he could check out. Parrish almost slaps the fence coming off of 2. That's going to help Davis try to get away. As you see right there with the virtual cam right there for Parrish. Davis slides up. Here comes Parrish. Shane Parrish will end up going to second. Kick Davis back to 3rd. And now, Eddie, you're going to see 2 of the fastest cars on the racetrack. Watch it once again right here. Davis goes into turn number 3. Whoa, baby. Driving like he's on a slick track with baby powder sprinkled all around it. Davis makes a hell of a save. Parrish will slide under, but like I said, Eddie, now you got to have 2 of the fastest cars on the track. If Parrish can get to Rogers, this is going to be a hellacious fight for the win here tonight at New Hampshire.
As they cross the line, Sean Rogers a 30.743, Shane Parrish a 31.0 as they were kind of going through that. As so right now, Sean Rogers, the only one faster than Sean Rogers is Matt Cox back in the 6th position. So Sean Rogers starting to click them off pretty quick now as we got a little battle here between Brandon Bikey and the 15 of Alex Coffey.
Pretty good battle right here for 4th. Bikey down to the inside, trying to see if he can get it done. He thinks different. He's going to drop in line right behind him, Matt Cox. As you mentioned, he hit a 30.8. Rogers hit a 31.1 that time. Shane Parrish hit a 30.8. So maybe, just maybe, Rogers may have burned it up a little bit, and Parrish may be able to try to reel him in. You're riding on board. Brandon Bikey sitting in that 5th spot right now, seeing all this battling going on and seeing Parrish try to reel in Rogers. Davis is just trying to hold bay, I guess you could say, and just hold right there in that 3rd spot and maybe try to slide up here and play sneaky with these guys. Coffey right there as well, sitting in 4th. But this is going to get good right here. Parrish hit a 30.7 that last lap. Rogers hit a 30.8. So Parrish is starting to chip away ever so slightly at that lead right here. Coming around this time right here, 30 laps ago. I might have said 30 a while ago. Hell, they've got me screwed up tonight, Eddie. But this is going to get good right here when Parrish will probably end up getting to Rogers.
Me and you both live in the South. This heat, I think we both work outside, so the heat in the South is getting to our brains, I think.
Yes.
And then the worst thing that could happen is it'd be Shane up front. But, yeah, I think the couple laps ago when Sean had that slow lap time, it just shows how you can't make any mistakes. I mean, he was pulling away, made a small error somewhere, about 0.4 of a second he lost. And, I mean, these guys are right back on him, so you cannot make a mistake here. We saw that with Shane Davis. He ran up the track and lost a spot. I mean, you make a small mistake, you miss the line by just a little bit, you slide those rears, slide the fronts on entry. It doesn't matter. One mistake. I mean, the top 8 drivers, Jake, are within 2.5 seconds of each other. That's pretty dang crazy with 30 laps to go.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. I mean, and they're doing a fantastic job, each and every one of them. basically just keeping it at bay. And I mean, there you see right there, literally, there's the gap. As you saw every single one of them go right by on your screen back there, with Coppola and Taylor being the final guys right here in this little freight train going around New Hampshire as you're riding on board with Shane Davis right here, trying to see if he can close in on Parrish. Rogers was able to sneak away from Parrish just a little bit right there. And now Davis, obviously on those 2 tires, on that 2-tire call back here, still sitting in that 3rd spot, looking pretty good. This is going to be a dogfight right here between these guys, Eddie. It may end up being for the lead. It may end up being for second. But this is a hell of a dogfight right now, at least by the top 5 from what I've seen so far. But don't count out these guys back here sitting in 7th and 8th. Kenny Coppola and Jeffrey Taylor, both of them have done a fantastic job. Obviously Coppola spun out earlier, and Taylor, obviously he's been up here inside the top 10. So these guys, masterclass of driving by each and every one of these guys.
Yeah, kind of want to highlight what makes these drivers look maybe a little bit different than those in the outside of the top 15. We see a lot of guys try to get on the gas a little bit too early, and I'll let you listen in here, I guess, as Shane Davis goes into turn 3. Listen how long he lets this thing roll before picking up the throttle and driving straight. Listen here. Slowly picks that throttle up, tries to get and he actually got on it maybe a little bit too early there as it gets loose. But you can see how long he's waiting. You want to get on that throttle as soon as possible. You just kind of feel like, oh, I got to get on it right here. But you got to wait. You got to wait because you want to get that car straight right here and get the best run that you can off the corner. And that's the difference between the guys up here at the front. If they're able to do that, let that thing roll through the center really well. And that is where the speed comes from at this track, is being able to roll that center, get back on the throttle, and carry it all the way in. Look how long you get on the throttle and how long you drive it deep into the corner. Shifting down, let that thing roll, off throttle, off throttle, off throttle, off throttle, then starts to pick it up slowly right here, and he's full throttle right here. So it is a long time you want that car to roll, and it seems like these guys up here, they've got some really good setups under them. As Shane Davis continues to put pressure on Parrish, but Rogers not getting away from these guys. They're keeping him in check.
Absolutely. I mean, and if I was Davis, I'd be watching my back bumper very, very closely, because Coffey is not out of this sucker, not by a long shot back here. Sitting in the 4th spot. Brandon Bikey not too far back as well, sitting in 5th. You got Cox, Coppola, Taylor. That is the top 8, as they have separated themselves from Randy Mullins, who's about 6 seconds back from the leader, way back there in the 9th spot. But Coffey is there. I mean, Coffey has got a shot to try to maybe get up here, snag him a couple of spots, and may end up getting up there at the podium, because I think he's actually learned a lot from that very first stage when we saw Coffey literally just dragging back and just losing so much time to Rogers and the leader. So I think Coffey's learned a lot. All the way up from when stage 1 was, all the way up to lap 176, which is what we're on right now. So he's learned a lot here in this race. It's been a long race, but I mean, Eddie, that's what you love right there. You love long races like this, because then you got time to adapt to what you've done earlier and be able to apply it right here at the end when it really matters.
I wonder if Alex has a setup that is really made for the long run, because this is probably, at 50 laps now, this is probably the longest run that we've had all night. I think we're at least pushing that right now. We haven't seen Alex be very good, for most of the race, especially early on when he just was dropping like a rock. But I wonder if that setup is not good just for the long run, and we're starting to see it come alive, because I'm telling you, he is, you're right, he is definitely just as fast and a few laps faster than these guys that's in front of him, actually faster than the leader a couple laps ago. So I wonder if Alex Coffey just didn't kind of bank on long runs, just hasn't had an opportunity to show what he's got. But right now, at the end of the race, that's the perfect time to show it, if you got it there, Jake.
Yeah, absolutely. And Davis really tried to show a lot right there with Parrish. Tried to dive it down to the inside, maybe have a battle for second on your hands. But Parrish now, he's going to get away. Davis had to slide back a little bit, riding on board with Alex Coffey. He's going to try to ship it down to the inside. He may end up looking maybe for the pass on Davis, but he thinks different. He's going to fall back in line. That could have got real hairy right there, because Coffey took a very, very different approach. than what we've seen him take the past couple of laps. And that's going to allow Brandon Bikey to slide right up on his back bumper. Bikey goes down to the inside, door to door with Coffee for that 4th spot. They almost make contact coming off before Davis gets loose as well. Holy hell, these guys are racing like it's for the lead, and this is only for 3rd right here, Eddie.
Yeah, you could definitely feel the intensity pick up with just 20 laps to go, and the 15 of Alex Coffey leans on the 79, and they are side by side. Coffey now has position right up in front of him. Sean Rogers now dealing with some lap traffic. A couple of them pull off the track, but you can see up here side by side with Ed Bowles. That's going to slow him up. No matter how you slice it, it's going to cause him to come off his line and have to deal with it. So right now, side by side is Sean Rogers, and that's pulling everybody else in. He's got the 24, Nick King, who was driving a modified earlier, is now up in front of him. So lap traffic, something that these guys haven't had to deal with just yet. And with just 20 laps to go, as Alex Coffey thought about, he's going to do it. He's going to make it 3 wide as Shane Parrish side by side with the lap car. Ed Bowles like, hey, what are we doing?
Woo, boy, Coffey really starting to heat it up. Contact!
Make contact!
Coffey made contact coming off a 4th, 3 wide back. He tries to stick it in the middle, but Davis able to slide right by all of them. Lap traffic playing a factor right here in the closing stages here at New Hampshire. Holy hell, Davis is able to sneak by. Coffey's able to sneak by. Parrish is going to get kicked back to 4th, and he may lose another spot because Backey's trying to go around him on the outside.
I'm going to be honest, this is some of the best racing that I've seen. These guys have unbelievable car control. Anywhere else, that is just a complete track blocker, and these guys keep it together. They're able to bang off each other and keep it straight. But, I mean, a big beneficiary there was Sean Rogers, who's now got a 1-second lead over the 79. That's a pretty massive lead compared to what these guys have been running, and he's going to be able to kind of breathe a little bit easier now that he's got that with just a little over 15 laps to go. But, man, this battle is going to continue back here as the 24 Nick King really causing these guys to have to make evasive maneuvers. But everybody able to get through there clean this time. But now Shane Davis is taking over 2nd. Alex Coffey, who was going for 2nd, now falls back to 3rd. Man, my goodness, this has been a wild race.
Well, I mean, the biggest loser out of all that right there when the lap car was right in the way was Shane Parrish, because, hell, he was running 2nd at the time, and then Davis was able to shoot around on the outside. Coffey was able to shoot around the outside, and now even Brandon Bikey has shot around Parrish after all that chaos that basically slowed down Shane Parrish. So he lost a lot of time, lost a lot of spots right there because of lap traffic, and I'm sure Parrish is not too happy right now, I guess you could say, with the lap traffic as tight as they were racing for that 2nd spot. So sitting back in 5th, here comes Cox. Cox tries to get up on the top side. He gets a little bit loose, but up front, Davis is starting to close in on Rogers a little bit right here, Eddie.
Unbelievable. I mean, just unbelievable what has happened. I mean, Sean Rogers had a 2nd lead. You thought, I mean, we saw after that stage where he stayed out on those old tires, you thought nobody's going to beat Sean Rogers if he can stay out on 80-lap old tires and run away with the field. And then, I mean, just a lap ago, we were talking about Shane Davis being a 2nd back, and he has already cut it down to half a second as Shane Davis really, though, overdrives that corner, trying to make up some time. We'll see what the lap times here. Shane was a 10th faster last time. We'll see what he is now. Same. I mean, he is definitely catching it. What a wild 3 and 4. I haven't seen that line just yet.
I mean, hell, I mean, you got to try something different, I guess. I mean, try something when it matters most. And that's exactly what Shane Davis is doing right now. He's making a lot of aggressive moves, trying to drive it straight in there, get as close as he can, and to be able to diamond the corner. You see him driving in like you were talking about, Eddie. Driving it in, letting it slide up, and then cutting off on the bottom. And it's making it work. He picked up 2 tenths right there. He hit a 30.9 to Rogers' 31.1. So Davis putting a lot of pressure right up on that back bumper right now. He has basically driven away. Both of these guys drove away from Alex Coffey, Brandon Bikey, and Shane Parrish. It's now, I mean, once again, like I said, it's the Sean and Shane show, but it's flipped. It was Parrish. Now it's Shane Davis all up in this back bumper right now as Sean Rogers. This time right here, 12 laps to go. Davis putting a lot of pressure right now on Shawn Rogers.
I am so impressed with all these drivers, but nonetheless, the 79 is there with 10 laps to go, and it's just been impressive to watch how good he is. Shawn Rogers has been the man of the race. I mean, if you were going to give the driver of the day, they're going to drive in there and make contact as he's trying to move him up out of the groove, and they both able to hang on to it. Alex Coffey out there banging against the wall off the corners, and Mikey trying to get around him. But right now it is a two-man show up front, and Shane Davis looks like he has got all the tires he needs with those two tires to get around Shawn Rogers. So, man, what a great way to end this race. It's been 190 laps of just insane racing, and we're going to see, I think, an amazing finish.
Yeah, I mean, Davis sent it in real hard, almost got to the back bumper of Rogers. Literally, the back bumper damn near tagged it. Now you're going to see Davis try to see if he can maybe do the same thing. He gets a lot of time over in 3 and 4, Eddie. That's where I've been seeing Davis make up so much time. Rogers may get him a little bit right in 1 and 2. Maybe not. Rogers getting a little loose. Davis is going to try to get a run. 3 and 4, that's where Davis is good. This is going to get good when Davis gets there.
Yeah, Shawn Rogers drove it in deep there, but the 79 going to be able to get a nose down to the left rear quarter panel off the corner. Not going to be able to. Oh, yeah, he gets a great run off the corner. He's going to try to dive it down into the inside. We'll see if he can make this move. I think Shawn was more than willing to give him that inside. Is Shawn going to gas it up on the outside? Oh, they almost make contact. Oh, caution is out. Oh, you got to be kidding me.
Oh, man.
Aaron Matthews has gone around, and what an awful caution. We had a battle for the lead. That was going to go on for laps. And, oh, my goodness. This is, of all the cautions we had, this one broke my heart.
Yeah, this one broke my heart, too, right here, obviously. Hate to see it right here. And you're just going to see Aaron Matthews just drive it into 3 and 4, and the back end just comes around on the 5 of Aaron Matthews. There you see on your screen, just drives it in there a little bit too hard. Back end comes around, spins it out. Nobody ends up hitting him right here from what I saw. So Aaron Matthews basically parks it right there, and he's going to fire it back up. Holy hell. Wow, Spear and Sanders almost drove straight into him right there. But caution's out right there. And, Eddie, I'm with you 100% right there. That one broke my heart, but obviously everybody's going down and getting 4 freshies. Hell, maybe Davis goes for 2.
No, yeah, I was about to say.
Go.
Yeah, no, I said Shawn Rogers stayed out on 80-lap old tires. No way with 7 laps to go, people are pitting. I couldn't believe it. When you said that, I was like, there's no way. Woo!
They threw me for a curveball. Honestly, I would have thought that they would have went down and took 4 freshies right there. But it's like you said, Rogers, obviously, when he was out there on those 80-lap old tires, just straight up motoring through the field. And most of the guys up here that's in the top 5, Rogers, Davis, Coffey, Bikey, they stayed out on the racetrack. Kenny Coppola, I believe, was one of those drivers also. He's back there. I think he stayed out on the racetrack as well. Taylor stayed out as well. So a lot of these guys just playing that track position game. Matt Cox, who was in 8th, he elected to go down and get 4 freshies. So a little bit of a, I guess you could say, a mind screwing with you on some of these guys making some of the strategy calls that they're making. But Eddie, I know you said that was a heartbreaker. It was a heartbreaker to see that caution, but I think it just set us up for one of the best finishes that we're probably going to see.
Well, I mean, Coffey, definitely happy to see that, as he's going to be able to cool those tires down and go back at it. But, man, we were going to see a fantastic battle up front. You really hate to see that caution, especially a solo spin. I mean, we're going to see a great battle, but you're right. We still have another opportunity for it. And these two still up front. But Alex Coffey, like I said, he's happy to see that. If that means he's going to have another opportunity to get back up there and try to make a move. He'll be in that second row. And, you know, as long as you're up there, you can see the leader, you've got a pretty good shot of winning this race. So I think your winner, unless just major contact happens between some of these guys, your winner is going to come from probably the first, maybe the second row. So if you're not in one of those rows, you're not going to win the race. And I think Matt Cox coming down pit road to take those tires, I think he knows that. And so he's going to bank on maybe a couple more cautions and try to make up a bunch of time. He's going to roll back out on the track in 12th. But if we stay green all the way to the end, that strategy is not going to work. We know that. But you just never know what can happen up here. But I'm looking forward to this restart. I hate to see that caution, but you're right. I think this could be even more exciting.
And Eddie, I mean, I was going to kind of ask you on this one. I mean, obviously you picked Shane Davis. I had Rogers for our picks, but I'm thinking of, maybe some dark horses that could just slide up here. You talked about the first 2 rows is where you feel like that win's going to come from. I say chaos just happens right here. And, as bad as I got to say it for you Shane Davis fans, Sean Rogers fans, even Alex Coffey fans, I think chaos is just fixing to happen right here. All hell's going to break loose, about like it did when we went to Gateway. So I would not be surprised one bit to see a driver like maybe Kenny Coppola get that win, or even the guy that's going to be starting right behind him in the next row on the inside. That's Jeffrey Taylor. I would not be surprised to see Jeffrey Taylor right there below that cut line for the round of 16. Jeffrey Taylor could end up getting that win here tonight and putting himself in the playoffs.
Well, we're going to find out right here into the Geico restart zone. Can Shane Davis get the restarts he's been getting? No, he cannot, but he's going to try to jump up into that outside line. That's the line he might want to be in, and they're going to go down into turn 1. Sean Rogers going to be clear, but now Shane Davis can get back to work and try to get back to that 81 as Coffey, Brandon Bikey side by side, door banging, and caution is back out. That's why I didn't want to see that. This is going to continue to happen. Big wreck in the back. And then Sean Rogers in that 81 loving this. Big smile on his face.
Big old wreck back here coming off of turn number 2. Chris Davis, Blaine Wilson, they're going to make a little contact. It was kind of an accordion effect, I guess you could say, domino effect, or however you want to look at it. You see it right there, Davis in the purple car, Blaine Wilson right behind him in the 18. And then there comes Chris Spear in the 7. And basically they just bottleneck. I mean, literally, Wilson hits Davis. He tries to get out of the gas. Spear ends up getting into Wilson, sends him right back into Davis. And then it's a chain reaction effect that sends them all basically sliding around right there. And basically we end up having a hell of a mess coming off of turn 2. You see Davis goes around after the accordion effect. There goes Nigel Christensen. Warren Young gets involved, with Jordan Smeets also getting involved as well. Big time calamity right there. It's just like I said, Wilson, he went in there, he got into Davis, and then once he got into Davis, he tried to get out of the gas, and then at that point, Spear just shoved Wilson right back into him, and then all hell ends up breaking loose. And Nigel Christensen damn near missed it, but then after that point, when they end up spinning Chris Davis back up, he just gets into Christensen's left rear and spins him around. So as you see, here we go. We got the lights going off once again. We got the strobe lights. Obviously on the Parish Club, if you want to put it that way, Eddie. I'm telling you, I would love to talk to Shane Parrish and find out how much all that right there costs, because no way in hell would I do it. I'd have nightmares, but I'd just love to have an idea how much that was if I ever did have the money to be able to try to build one of those.
It is pretty impressive. Well, let's talk about what we got going on here. Got one green, white, checkered. Man, so bummed we didn't get to see that thing go all the way to the end, but going to be a green, white, checkered here. So we'll have just one attempt at it. So they'll go around until they get the one to go. We'll have those 3 laps up there for until we go back green. So, right now, Sean Rogers do exactly what you just did. Get away, get that restart. Now, Shane Davis has had some really good restarts where he's been able to go with them. But I think at this moment that now I know that the top 3 are in Discord together. And I think Shane Davis has been a beneficiary of a countdown restart a couple times. And I think the last restart kind of shows that he's not getting that countdown from his teammate anymore. So I think Sean Rogers knows what he's got to do. He's got to get on the gas, he's got to get away. And if a caution comes out, the race is over and he wins. And if we get the white flag, they'll race all the way to the finish line. But I think if you're Sean Rogers getting into turn 1 without Shane Davis being anywhere around you, likely you're going to come away with the win. So that's what Sean Rogers has to do, and he'll get this win.
Yeah, he's obviously been one of the fastest cars here this season. That obviously, I mean, he won stage 1, he won stage 2, basically looking for the sweep here tonight at New Hampshire. Shane Davis, I mean, you talked about it, Eddie. I mean, one of those guys that started literally outside the top 25, literally started 28th in the field. And now he's up here, got him a shot, try to win him a race here tonight. Brandon Backey up here in the middle of this as well, currently sitting in third. Like you mentioned, all those guys basically have one chat. So it's going to get good right here with the teammates right here. We may end up having some beef when this thing's all said and done with some teammates, Eddie. I've never actually, yes, I have experienced that. Here we go, Eddie.
Getting ready to pull off here, Jake. We're getting ready. Green-white checkered here at Loudon, New Hampshire. Who's going to take home the checker flag? Geico restart zone, and Shane Davis gets a great jump. He is going to beat Sean Rogers to the line. I don't know if that's going to stick. That was pretty early. We'll see. But Shane Davis has the nose in front in 1 and 2, and he's going to clear him off of turn 2. And Sean Rogers going to go around. He's safe. No, he's going to get turned.
Oh, my goodness. Caution is out on the speedway, and that's going to do it. Looks like Shane Davis is going to end up getting the win, pending on whether or not he jumped the restart right there. Eddie, I'm just like you right there. Rogers was the leader, and Davis looked like he might have jumped that restart right there. So this is going to be interesting from race control to see how this sucker ends. But unofficially right now, we're seeing Shane Davis up here at the front. You see it right there. Oh, man, damn, Eddie, that's close right there. That is close.
Yeah, into the restart zone. No, you can see it right there. I'll back it up just a little bit. That's a pretty good angle, but you can see the 81 does go, and they both go at the exact same time, and then you see a little nervous I don't know if an early shift or what, or maybe spinning the tires for the 81, but I think that was a clean restart, Jake.
Very good possibility that was a clean restart from what you're seeing right there, Eddie. So it looks like Shane Davis is going to end up being the winner here tonight. Brandon Backey is going to end up coming home in second. Coffee gets third. Parrish fourth. And Kenny Coppola will end up being fifth. And actually, I'm starting to see something a little different right here, Eddie. I do not see Shane Davis up at the top. I'm seeing Brandon Backey up here. They kicked Shane Davis all the way to 22nd down here. Something's up right here. I don't understand this right here, Eddie. Something's up. And Backey's doing burnouts on the front stretch. Holy hell.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks like the 79 may have gotten a black flag there. I mean, they cleared his black flag, but we'll kind of go back. We were kind of watching that restart, so I don't know if he got disqualified or something here. I'm not real sure. Trying to see exactly what happened. Oh my goodness! Matt Cox comes in and hits him, but yeah, I don't know. Well,
they're teammates.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think he took the checkered flag here. I'm not sure why he got a black flag. The race should be over here, so I'm not real sure what happened. And they did clear his black flag, so it must have been something that that was passable. I'm not real sure. So we'll get clarification on that as soon as we can. I don't know. Did he celebrate too early? I'm not real sure. I mean, right now, if you look at Brandon Backey, he's past the pace car as well. So yeah, I don't know. We'll have to get clarification as soon as we can. But I'll tell you what. Let's take a short break. We'll try to get that clarification. That way we can come back with all the info. But as of right now, based on what I see with the flags being cleared, Shane Davis is going to be the winner. But we'll get that clarification as soon as we can. It might be Brandon Backey. Who knows? We'll be right back right after this, and we'll all find out together. All right, we are back, and we do have clarification. We wanted to make sure we were going to tell it right. And, well, for all you Shane Davis fans out there, he is your winner. It's going to show him 22nd as he got a black flag, but they went back and reviewed it. We watched it here on the broadcast, and sure enough, they both fired off at the same time. And you saw that the 81 of Sean Rogers had a little issue, maybe shifted a little bit too early, and it gave Shane a black flag for that. But they both went at the same time. So Shane Davis will take the victory. So just a wild race. I think they're actually still reviewing it. So let's just go through the results real quick. Like I said, the results will be a little skewed here, but we'll take excuse me, my goodness. We'll take a look at it. Shane Davis did come home with the win, but Brandon Bikey going to be second place. Alex Coffey in third, I believe, and Shane Parrish in fourth. And then we'll just go down the list right here. Kenny Coppola. Yeah, this is all thrown. Jeffrey Taylor, what a great finish for him. Going to come home in sixth. Hunter Carmichael, Randy Mullins, Brandon Fetterplace, Tim Wortman Jr., and Barry Sanders, your top 10.
Absolutely. Matt Cox is actually going to be in the 12th spot with all the chaos that happened right there with Shane Davis. So Matt Cox is going to get 12th. With John Binder, how about this right here? Started 30th, and he's going to end up finishing in the 13th position from what we're understanding. So he will get 13th here this evening. Aaron Matthews will end up getting 14th. Chris Davis, saw him spinning around a while ago. He's going to end up getting 15th with Jordan Schmeets in 16th. Caden Norfree will get 17th. Nigel Christensen is going to get 18th with Ed Bowles Jr. in 19th. And Blaine Wilson rounds out the top 20.
Yeah, and 21st is going to be Sean Rogers there as he I think he was just blown away about the restart there, got on the gas, got loose, and then just everybody's got their foot in it. They're just going to they're going to punch the gas. They're not going to lift for nobody. So he comes home in 21st. I know he's disappointed about that. Chris Spear going to come home in 22nd. And then you got Shane Davis there. And then all these are right from here on out. Nick King comes home in 23rd. Warren Young in 24th. Paul Gallimore in 25th. Johnny Shea 26th. Jameson Middlemiss in 27th. Matt Mack in 28th. All these drivers hundreds of laps down. Nicholas Atwood, we saw him caught up in quite a few wrecks. Going to come home in 29th. Ryan Huff rounds out your top 30. And then 31st is going to be Darren Mullins, Jared Clark, and Paul Whitley. The results seem to be kind of goofed up. So a lot of extracurricular after the race, but that is pretty much where everybody finished. Well, my goodness, Jake. Man, I'm out of breath. I'm blown away. A little bit of confusion, a little bit of brain fog, a little bit of track fog too. And I think we finally got our final order, and we're going to talk to your race winner, Shane Davis, as soon as I feel for more time and give myself a chance to get him up in here. But here we are, Shane Davis in the booth. Shane, man, what an incredible race by you. You were, I'm going to try to get you on the winner thing here, considering you finished in 22nd, but we know you won. We went back and watched it on the replay multiple times. Perfect restart there at the end. How in the hell did you time it just right?
I've been studying his restarts. I've been on the inside of him for about 4 or 5 restarts. And I started studying it. And I was watching, he was going about a car length in. As soon as he could get in, he was going. And so I knew I was going to try to get it right there and pray that I timed it just right. And our cars squatted at the same time. It looked like he hit second gear, and that's when I ended up pulling him. Looks like I wrapped out first just a little bit longer and was able to get into second a little smoother. And ultimately, it got me the win. It got me a black flag getting to the line first since he chose the outside. But some of the risk that goes with it, luckily they were able to review it, and I got the win.
Yeah. I mean, I picked you about midway through the race. We were watching. You were one of the only guys who could make passes up through the field, but you had to work for it. It was not easy. And so talk a little bit about that early part of the race. You started way back in 28th position. Was that by design, or did you maybe goof up your qualifying? What happened there? What made you start all the way back? Because you definitely had race winning speed.
No, I was 2/10 ahead of the pole when I went to go into turn 3, and I was being greedy, and I should have just backed out of it, and I actually spun myself out in qualifying. So
Oh no.
I just stopped it and let it go back to the rear, and I was trying to be patient coming up through them. Coming through there was a pain in the butt, and I ended up coming through. Then I ended up almost spinning out, hitting pit road, and going back to 22nd again, and was able to drive back up. It just car felt really good tonight. Everybody was driving really good. The long green flag runs, which I did not expect at all, really always plays out in my favor. I really need those to keep going on.
Well, you made a really good call to come down on one of those last few pit stops and take 2 tires. Were you did you second guess that call when you made it, or did you feel pretty confident about it? What was your thoughts? I mean, we saw Sean Rogers go 80 laps on a set of tires, which was pretty incredible. So it seemed like tires weren't a huge deal, but was that thought in the back of your mind? Was this the right call? Or were you pretty confident?
Actually, the reason I took 2 tires, I really wasn't worried about tires as much, but I was super tight. The run before that, as the night went on, I was getting tighter and tighter. And so I took the 2 tires actually in order to loosen my car up a little bit in order to get a little more rotation out of it.
Well, and it definitely seemed to work. You kind of fell back there, and had some lap traffic kind of pop up there, and Sean was able to pull away to about a second, and we thought, oh my goodness, that might be it. And then he just slowly reeled him back in, and I got to tell you, man, we said it in the broadcast. We were just so deflated. We were like, you know how you got a balloon, you blow it up, and you let it go, and it goes. That's how we felt with about 5 laps to go. With that caution came out, because you were right there on his back bumper, and I think we're going to see an amazing race. And how bummed were you to see that caution come out when it
I
did?
was I was so upset. So I got Gateway kind of stolen away last couple weeks ago. Really dominated long run there, and then when it came on to this, I was actually at his mirror coming to under him in turn 4, side by side with him when that caution came out. So I was very very heated, but luckily I was able to stay calm and get a good restart there and pull one out.
Yeah, I mean, amazing restart. We thought you jumped it in real time, then we went back and watched it. I mean, just perfect restart by you. So just incredible driving. I appreciate you winning because I picked you, and that really makes me feel validated on what I feel about the drivers in this field. Now, with that win, that's going to pull you up even with the other 2-time winners in this series. Do you think this is maybe a statement win of how you're ready to be a championship contender?
Oh yeah, I struggled in the beginning of the season. I got in a lot of bad luck, just poor qualifying, honestly, and like I did today. And I was a little impatient coming through the field sometimes, and just got in some bad luck, caught in other people's accidents and stuff. And so I didn't get a good start out to the season for the standings. I think I was wrecked out of the 9 of the first 10 races with complete meatballs. So coming on here, I'm just trying to be a little more patient, let guys make mistakes, get through them, and hoping for these long runs. We're getting better as a league with these long runs, and that always plays out in my favor a ton. Gateway, I just kind of sat and rode second, third, and was able to come long run today. I felt like long run. I was really, really good. I was able to reel Sean back in from the 1.3. I think if I had another lap, I think I could get around him and maybe put a little time in between. So. It I'm ready to get on to the playoffs now.
There you go. Well, you moved on to the next echelon of race winners. Congratulations on that. And man, the floor is yours. Who you got to thank for this race win?
I got to thank all my teammates at Beast Mode. Appreciate all the hard work and effort that they do. We spent a lot of time practicing, testing, making adjustments. I was on the Ryko setups tonight that was able to win the race. Got to thank my brother Chris. I kind of get a slide job on him a little earlier, cost him a position, but he always helps out a ton. My wife and my kids that watch me as we're running, and that's about it.
All right. Well, there you have it. Shane Davis comes home with the victory with a thrilling green white checkered and comes away with the victory. And I think Jake Reeves, I think you're caught up with Brandon Bikey.
Absolutely. Brandon Backey ends up coming home second here tonight. And Brandon, I mean, hell of a race, brother. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun out there. We had a good run, awesome setup. Kenny Capola put together just a setup that was on rails. Had some damage a little bit through the middle part of that race when I tried to flip the stage. But it was a fun race, and we were were digging. All the BMP was just great. So we were running top. There was at least 6, 7 of us in the top 10 all night. So that was a lot of fun.
And Brandon, obviously, I mean, great finish. Obviously, a couple of months, I guess you could say, till we start playoff racing. But next week's going to be a real good one when we go to Nashville Super Speedway. How are we liking our chances when we go to Music City?
It was fun. I've been racing it a little bit this week and doing okay. So I think you know, I think it'll be a good race. It seems like it's a little bit of a one groove track, but the track conditions that we race here at Moonshiners tends to vary quite a bit from what the open officials are. So that kind of makes it a little bit fun and makes it challenging to try to, adjust the setups a little bit to get it to dig here in Moonshiners. So I think it'll be a good race either way. There's a lot of these guys here that just are such high quality, and it's so fun to race them. So we'll see if we can put on a good show next week.
I'm sure y'all will. And I mean, Brandon coming home second here tonight. Obviously, started fourth, kept it up front most of the race. Brandon, before we let you go, you got any sponsors, any shout outs that you want to thank, buddy?
Yeah, definitely. No actual sponsors, but I want to thank BMP, Beast Mode Performance. It's just the best group of guys. We really help each other out, make sure that we're all, running the best setups that we possibly can and just digging every week. Congrats to Shane. What a great run. Sean Rogers, kind of heartbreaking that he got, into the wall there at the end because he was just so fast on Kenny's setup as well. So I want to thank those guys. And then, you know, everybody at BMP. I mean, I got a whole list here. It's Gallimore, Schmeets, Taylor, Atwood. I mean, we've just got Matt Cox. There's so many good guys that help me and get me to where I am. So appreciate all of them. And then my wife, Lindsay, my dad, who watches a lot of these races, and my friend Bryce as well. So thanks to everybody. Thanks to you guys for putting on an amazing broadcast every week. And we're going to keep this momentum up and see if we can get some dubs, see if we could take one away and get back into the lead of wins here. So that's my goal.
Sounds like it's a plan. Brandon Backey comes home second here tonight at New Hampshire. Brandon, obviously, congratulations. Appreciate your time. And we'll see you in Nashville next week.
Thank you.
Well, all right. Now I got third place finisher Alex Coffey in the booth with us. Alex, man, what a wild race. You didn't fire off as good as you normally do. It seemed like you were really struggling early on, but you kept fighting. And that's what you have to do in these races. And man, what a great recovery. Come back and finish in the third spot. How was that car driving out there? And tell me a little bit about your race.
It was definitely a handful, but it had speed, so can't complain about that. I like a loose car, makes you be able to have more options of where you want to run at. But yeah, it was definitely up and down. I had to take, I think, 34 seconds of damage there at the end of stage two, and because I pretty much self spun, but hung on to it, and I'm not sure where I got the damage from, but it was definitely up and down race. Like you said, glad I got recovered and got back up there.
Well, the car was loose, and we definitely saw you early on, sliding the rear tires off the corner, getting loose and stuff like that. But we noticed at one point, early in the race, you really struggled to kind of stick with the guys up front. But there at the end, I mean, it seemed like we had a longer run. That 15 was a little bit strong on the back end of a run. Did you feel that way, or did you make any changes? What changes did you might have made during the race to try to improve the way that car was driving?
Well, the track temp went down. I actually didn't make any pit stop adjustments all race because it was loose, but I figured I could adjust it. There's so many lines you could change around and go in the corner lower and stuff like that. So I didn't make any adjustments. I tried to do my adjustments, I guess you could say, through the lines I was taking and lifting a little earlier and whatnot. But yeah, the latter half of that last run, I definitely came to life. Felt like we were in a good spot to win it, and then I think it was just hard racing between me and the 66. He got in my left rear a little bit, got me some wheel damage. So after that, it was just trying to hang on to what we had. But definitely felt like I had the car to win there for a minute.
Yeah, well, you led some laps. You had a really great showing. You got that win last week, so you're not as desperate as maybe you have been. So last week was probably a big relief. This week came in and just had a really good top 5 finish, and you kind of ride that momentum wave right into the playoffs if you can. So really, really good stretch of races for you, and man, congratulations on your 3rd place finish. Who you got to thank here tonight?
Yeah, shout out to my team, Dig Esports, Nigel, Blaine, and Johnny. Shout out Caden too. He hops on our chat usually. So shout out to y'all for doing the broadcast, all the admins, and Barry for putting the league on every week. It's definitely a great league. And shout out to my mom for watching out there in the YouTube chat. So
All right, well there you have it. 3rd place finisher Alex Coffey, and we come to a close here in this one. As man, we'll just kind of blow your eardrums out with some music there. But man, I'll tell you what, Jake, that was a long one, lots of cautions, but we had some great racing, some great battling. Closing thoughts about the way that one ended.
Well, I mean, obviously, we hated to, I guess you could say, see the self-spin right there by Aaron Matthews. I mean, it is what it is. These cars have really been a handful for these guys for most of the race here this evening. So obviously, we hated to see that. We hated to see that caution because it was going to shape up to be a hell of a finish, and it still did, Eddie. Let's not take anything away from it. It was still a hell of a finish. It came down to damn controversy. That's the stuff that we love right there, Eddie. We always love to have a little bit of drama, have some controversy come in there because we didn't know. Nobody had a damn clue if Shane Davis was the winner here this evening. So congratulations to Shane. And congratulations to each and every one of the drivers because they put on a hell of a show here this evening. And Nashville's going to be a good one, Eddie. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, it always puts on a really good show. It's an interesting track, and I think at this point the track doesn't matter. These drivers are some of the best out there. They race really well together, they race hard, and it puts on a show, and that was incredible. Just a great finish tonight, very exciting. If you didn't enjoy that, I don't know what to tell you. Man, it's just so many emotions up and down, and man, congratulations again to Shane Davis getting that win. And we'll move on to next week. So, man, thank y'all so much for watching. Hope y'all enjoyed the broadcast. I really enjoyed Jake Reeves joining the commentary booth. I think, obviously, it makes it a lot easier on me. And, man, I think you bring a lot to the broadcast. So thanks to Jake for being a part of this moving forward. I want to thank RS Button Boxes for their sponsorship of this race. I want to thank OB Builders for their sponsorship of the Cup Series. I want to thank Barry Sanders and all of the admins who do a lot of work around here in the Moonshiners Racing League. If this product doesn't show how good the racing is here, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe sim racing ain't for you. So we'll see y'all next week. Nashville, come on out. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll see you then.